You may not know this, but today is Luxander's birthday. So now to start the stream, I will be singing happy birthday to Luxander, but I'm not going to sing any words except for the word birthday. 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 Yay!
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Birthday.
What a great way to start the show.
Hey!
Thank you for that.
I was gonna do, it was actually a buddy of mine's birthday just the other day, and what I texted him was, birth, you were birthed, a birthing was you, today, this
Yes.
day, for today were ye birthed upon the world, and today we celebrate the day of birthing, the birthed boy on the birthed day, what a day to be birthed, today is that day, birthday, be glad of it as I am. And Amber texted, hear ye. That's see, it was one or the other, honestly. It could go either way.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to this show. It's a special show that we're doing today specifically for Luxander's birthday, and we asked them what they wanted for their birthday, and they said they wanted to prove to the internet that MAGA has no actual values of their own. All they have is hate. And that's what drives it. This conversation never happened. But, that is the true premise of the show. And that is the position that I will be defending today. And by defending that position, what I mean is we're going to take calls from MAGA, and they're just going to prove me right. That's going to be the whole thing. I strongly believe that MAGA doesn't believe in anything. They don't have any values. They don't have any stances. They don't have any moral ground that they really hold to. The one thing they have is hatred. And the only thing that makes any of this worth it for them is that the people that they hate are being hurt. That's all they've got. And to demonstrate that, to show why I believe that, we're going to just take calls from Trump supporters and ICE supporters and MAHA and MAGA and all these different people who want to call in and tell us about why they support the things that they do. Number on the bottom of the screen, or middle of the screen in this one, the number on the middle of the screen there is 336-543-2101 here on the channel. Jimmy Snow in the line, where you'll notice Jimmy Snow isn't because he's dead.
It's a takeover.
Yeah. Lux, what kind of calls are you hoping to get today?
I mean, I'm open. I didn't do Takis earlier. Sometimes I do the double duty where I do 1 3-hour show followed by another 3 to 4 hour show. But I didn't do that today. So I'm raring to go. If anybody wants to talk to me about trans rights, why trans people shouldn't have access to care, why it's okay that Kansas just revoked trans people's driver's licenses. I've been
overnight.
Yeah, literally overnight. Yeah, which would have affected me. I would just suddenly not be able to legally drive anymore. Thank fucking God I moved to Oregon. And abortion also is one that I've been thinking about more lately. And I've been, enjoying bringing out my castle doctrine arguments. So listen, I've been hitting hard the economy too. We've had a couple really excellent calls lately, last week especially, where some folks were, taking issue with our socialist stance. It's basically a lot of us here on the line are left-leaning, if not fully describing ourselves as socialist, communist, anarchist. So I'm trying to start evangelizing that whole thing where it's no, we care about workers. I don't want you to be exploited. I think you deserve better than a 70-hour work week or whatever. So yeah, I'm just doing whatever I can to get people on side.
That has been a wild experience on this show specifically, telling people that they deserve to be paid better and having them get mad at me for telling them that they deserve more money has been wild. So yeah, we'll take all these calls. If you support Donald Trump, if you support ICE, if you don't believe that trans people are a thing, or you don't understand or don't believe in the difference between sex and gender, I'm down to take evolution calls. So if you don't believe in evolution or the age of the earth, and you think that humans were farted into existence 6,000 to 10,000 years ago, along with everything else, also happy to take calls about religion. As always, if you are a Christian, if you believe that the Bible is the good book, if you believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven or that we should want to go there, if you believe that we should believe the things that you believe, whatever they may be, this is the show for you. Also taking capitalist calls, y'all.
Yes.
So here we are. ready for you to call us and tell us what you believe and why we should believe it too. Again, that number in the middle of the screen there is 336-543-2101. It's easy to type, and it would be easier to remember if I say this more often. We already have a couple of people pouring in right now. Lines are still open, but we have 3 people currently making their way through the screening room, it looks like. So we'll get onto those calls here in just a second. In the meantime, I did want to mention, you mentioned Kansas and this bill, or this law that just went into effect. I just want, like, to the people out there watching, just imagine living in Kansas for a second. Imagine you're a trans person in Kansas. Remember, this was not something that was announced and discussed for like weeks and weeks at a time. If I remember correctly.
There's no grace period, yeah.
Yeah, this was just dropped on people. So imagine being a trans person in the state of Kansas, whatever you think about trans people, right? Imagine being a trans person there in Kansas, and you wake up one day and suddenly you're not allowed to drive. Your driver's license is invalid. You're not allowed to drive. You can't go to the DMV to get a new license because you'd have to drive there. You need to get an Uber, have a friend drive you, walk, take a bus, whatever. That's going to cost time and money. Getting the new license is going to cost you time and money. Digging up your documents and everything to prove your citizenship, to prove that may take time. That definitely takes time, may take money if you don't have access to those documents. Heaven forbid if you're adopted. Heaven forbid if you lost your papers in a fire or some other situation. Heaven forbid you had to get away from a bad relationship and you lost some stuff. Like, what a million situations that everybody goes through all the time could be screwing you over here. More importantly, while you're waiting for this new license, while you're doing this, because I don't know about Kansas, but here in Oklahoma, you don't get your license on the same day anymore. They send it to you in the mail a little while later because we don't just have the ability to do that.
You get like a receipt printed copy in Kansas.
Yeah. So good luck going to the pharmacy, pick up your medication without your license. Good luck going, into a doctor's office. Good luck going if you need to vote. Yeah, I know the vote isn't right here at this moment, but like I'm saying, and you have all these weird voter restriction laws, all these things. Primaries coming up, like 1,000,001 options, 1,000,001 situations where you need to provide your license in order to get into a particular building, in order to pay for a particular service or access a particular service. Like, there's 1,000,001 situations in which we need our IDs on a day-to-day basis, and now at no fault of your own, and in no way were you warned about this and able to prepare for this. Just suddenly, bam, surprise, this is invalid. Think about the real ID thing. The government rolled out this real ID that they want everybody to use, and you have to have this real ID in order to fly. It was years and years for that rollout, and they kept putting up, like, hey, you will not be able to get on a flight unless you have this ID by this date. And then that day would come around, and, like, nobody had it, and they had to push it back. Okay, but for real this time, guys. This time for real, you have to do. And the final times roll, I still just carry a passport. I still haven't gotten the goddamn thing because it takes forever. It's a nightmare. It's a huge process, especially here in Oklahoma where we have like terrible, literally every kind of infrastructure forever. It sucks. So like at the end of the day, we're now forcing all of these folks to do the same thing because, and we're doing this to a tiny percentage portion of the population. Tiny, tiny amount of people. Think about the millions of dollars spent to come together with a legislature to come up with that law and pass that law and all that. Think about all the tax dollars that came out of your pocket. If you're in Kansas right now and you're not a trans person, think about the tax money that came out of your pocket to fund your government to go through the process of doing that, and then divide that number by however many trans people are actually in Kansas. And then imagine how you'd feel if that many thousands of dollars were spent just to inconvenience you by the government. Like, can you imagine living in such an incredibly stupid situation? And meanwhile, still no action on the Epstein list. Still, the government's still breaking the law on that. Still, the government's still not following through on their promises to arrest pedophiles and protect the victims of pedophiles. Nothing on that. Gas prices still up. Grocery prices still up. Cost of living still up. Cost of housing still up. Cost of everything still up. People barely scraping by. Number one cause of bankruptcy in this country is medical bankruptcy. You get sick, you break your leg, you are SOL. Over half of the country can't survive a $5,000 sudden emergency. But you know what this government accomplished in your state? They made sure that like 25 people had a really frustrating weekend where they had to figure out their own documentation overnight, assuming they heard the news and weren't just pulled over and arrested for driving without a valid license at no fault of their own because they never broke any fucking laws.
I feel like it's also worth like acknowledging that like typically you're grandfathered in on these things. Like if y'all remember back when like gay marriage was legalized in California and then Proposition 8 happened and it made it illegal again. But the gay people who got married during that window didn't suddenly have their marriages nullified. When you're in Kansas and you legally change your sex marker on your license, you go through a legal process. You have to do medical care that counts as like a transition of like physically changing your sex. And you have to get a like letter with the letterhead from your doctor and then take that to the Department of Revenue. And it's a legal process to have it changed. And it's very atypical, I think, for it to be like, by the way, retroactively, we are revoking your documentation. It would be one thing if they said from now on, you can no longer change your documentation. But to retroactively take it back from you and to be like, yeah, we're literally going to revert it back to what it was before. Yeah. And then the other thing to really like take note of here is we're also in a situation where having your papers is kind of important. Because there's ice everywhere, like even in Kansas, even in the progressive parts of Kansas. Like I've got friends who are telling me like, hey, I live in Lawrence and there's like a lot of trans people who live there because it's kind of like the blue area in Kansas, aside from Kansas City. And then like, yeah, there's ice activity. So suddenly you have no active driver's license. If you need to drive like to pick up your kids from school or to go to work or anything, you're breaking the law. And there's no reprieve. And yeah, this puts trans people in a liminal state, much like undocumented immigrants are in a liminal state where they're like in the process. And we've seen, listen, justify this to me, MAGA. Legal immigrants going through the legal process and they're literally there at the hearing where they're going to swear whatever thing that they swear that makes them a citizen.
The naturalization hearing.
The naturalization hearing. And they get picked up by ICE. Tell me more about how it's okay for them to do it legally and you support legal immigrants and everything when we're like cock blocking the legal process. Yeah.
We'll get there. And let me tell you, like this is absolutely just more Nazi bullshit out of this party. But we're going to talk about exactly this, exactly what you just talked about a second ago about the process to get your license changed and the process to change your gender on your documents, all these things. Because we got Steve calling in from Florida who wants to talk about how this is all totally normal because you need to have your proper gender on your license. Steve, you're on this show with Calling It Now. That's the name of the show with Forrest and Luxander. How are you doing today?
All's well. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah,
I can. So you say that, I'm just reading what's on the call screen here. It says there should be no fraud on the license, and you say you need the proper gender on it. So couple of things here. We're going to take a two-pronged approach to this whole thing. Is the first part is we're going to talk about this fraud situation, and then we're going to talk about what gender is. So tell me, Steve, what fraud is going on the license when, after everything Lux just explained and described, the legal process of legally changing your documents, and the government agrees that this is what goes on your documents, and they give you an official new document with this new marker on it. How is that fraud?
Oh, well, because other countries would say you're not a woman.
Right, but we're not other countries. There are other countries where it's illegal to be certain, religions and illegal not to, wear a head covering and illegal to do this. We're not other countries. We're the land of the free, where you're free to change your markers on these.
There's also plenty of countries who do recognize legal gender changes, so that's not an argument. This is America.
Yeah, but your gender and your sex are all one thing. It's not the same.
There's a legal process, Steve. Yeah, we'll get to gender in a second.
And that's a different question. The question now is, like, if the government has agreed that this is the proper documentation for you, they had a legal framework for you to follow, you follow that legal framework, you submit all the right paperwork, you do all the right things, you get all your I's dotted and T's crossed and all that stuff, and then they give you legal documentation, how is that fraud?
Well, it's fraud in other countries, and it would also be fraud if they did it wrong, if they got it wrong. I mean,
okay, so if I can
governments make
if I can
mistakes.
show you if I can show you another country that does something that you don't like, I can just say, well, that's how it is in that other country, and you would agree that that's how we should do it here then.
Well,
We should be more socialist because that's how it is in a lot of Scandinavian countries, you know.
What was that about socialists?
I was saying a lot of other Scandinavian countries have a lot of more socialist practices than we do. So when I advocate for socialism and you say, no, I don't like socialism, I'll just say, well, you know, that's how it is in other countries. That's how the law is over there. So at the end of the day, that's how it should be because that's the law in other countries.
Well, socialism is very oppressive. They're going to force you to pay a lot more in taxes, so you're supporting everybody else.
But that doesn't matter because what matters is it's legal in another country. So it should be legal here, right? And when things are illegal in other countries, like where it's illegal to be Christian, for example, then it should be illegal here, right? That's your argument that you're making?
Well, you're conflating an ideology versus actual physical fact.
That's not the point, though, Steve.
No.
Come back to the point. What you just said is something should be illegal in the United States. Hold on, Steve, 1 second. What you just said is that if something is illegal in another country, it should be illegal here. Are you sticking to that point, or are you backing off of that because you know it sounds fucking stupid?
I'm talking to the point one is the truth and one's not.
That doesn't matter. If there's a legal process to legally change your sex, and there's a couple of different ways to do it, and I know that you don't know anything about this, Steve, so I'll take a second to explain it to you. There are places where it's a court order, so you go through a judicial process, and so you say, hey, I'm being truthful, and a judge assesses, like, okay, this person is earnest that they are trans and that it makes sense for their documentation to be changed and updated. And then you get a court order. Or in states like Kansas, it's an administrative process where you basically say, like, yeah, I'm medically transitioned. I have physically changed my biological sex, because you can do that. And you attest that you did it. And your doctor signs a document that says, I attest that they've had this treatment. And then they administratively say, okay, cool, we're changing this. And there's an assumption that you're telling the truth, because it's otherwise it's perjury. Perjury is a different crime. So if there is a legal process that the state recognizes for changing your legal gender, how is that fraud?
Well, it's not fraud if the whole system is fraudulent and doesn't care about the truth, I guess. If you don't care about the truth, yeah, I guess it wouldn't be fraud.
You keep trying to pivot to the second point, and it's fucking sad, dude. So I'm happy to talk about sex and gender with you and the science behind these things. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss because, you know, as I always say, if transphobes would just actually study biology half as much as they bloviate about science and the truth and objective reality and shit, if they actually studied biology half as much, they wouldn't be transphobes anymore. So I'm happy to talk to you about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't get you away from the point that we're making here. You claim that this is fraud. The government is giving you legal documentation based on a legal process that you followed legally. That is definitionally not fraud. All your argument is here is that you personally don't agree with it. And sorry, that doesn't fucking matter. Again, this is about freedom. And they have the freedom to do this if they want to do this. And they have a process to do it. So your rights don't trample over theirs. Sorry.
Well, so the right to lie is the premise for your ideology? Is lying?
First of all, three actually big things here. Number one, what I just described is not an ideology. Number two, what I'm describing is not lying. And number three, that's a bitch cop-out, my dude. All I'm saying here is that your personal preferences do not supersede someone else's legal rights. Now, if you want badly to talk about sex and gender, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. Would you like to talk about why trans men are men and trans women are women?
Well, so your whole ideology is put whatever they think they are, regardless of the actual factual truth.
No. My whole statement here is exactly what Luxander just said to you quite eloquently less than 5 minutes ago about the structured legal process backed by doctors and bureaucrats and all the normal rigmarole and red tape that we have that goes into government documentation. Well, and again, can't stress enough, ideology is a really fun buzzword for y'all, but that's not what we're discussing right now.
Yeah.
Well, doctors want to make money, and bureaucrats pander to groups to buy votes.
Right. So
I mean,
now tell me more
it
about
doesn't-
that next time you or someone you love is seriously sick or injured and goes through the legal processes in this country that allow you to get things like chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, any medical treatment whatsoever. There are legal documents and legal frameworks around those things. So anytime you ever seek medical care, ever, doctors and bureaucrats are involved. Tell me more about how you don't care about any of that and you don't trust any of that. Or is it just when it comes to hating trans people that you feel the need to pick these nits?
Well, first of all, I mean, are there medical procedures or medical things that only happen in the male sex that don't happen in the female sex?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then why would you want to have false documentation on that when their life could be in jeopardy?
That's not
because
relevant.
we're talking about so again, three things. Number one, that has nothing to do with anything. Number two, we're talking about sex and gender as distinct different categories because they very obviously are. And number three, it's weird that you think that a trans person going to the doctor isn't going to have discussions with their doctor about their anatomy. Who, in what situation would that ever apply?
You come in unconscious, and all you have is your ID.
Right. And so the doctor doesn't check any, like if you have a relevant situation, if you have a situation that is relevant to male specific or female specific anatomy, you don't think the doctor's going to fucking look?
Oh, well, there could
and
be. I
what
guess there
treatment
could be
specifically, what treatment specifically could they do that would be possible in complete ignorance to the anatomy that you have?
Well, they could, if they just go by the ID and have to do something rushed, they could mess it up, couldn't they?
There is no situation
totally, yes.
in an emergency room where that's going to matter unless your penis got crushed in an accident or something. And then it's going to be obvious what happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, give me an example of this, where this actually makes sense. Because we're talking about a situation where male-specific or female-specific anatomy would really matter here. So this person comes in for an emergency hysterectomy. Or what, pick your, and right? And the doctor doesn't do any checks, just looks at their driver's license and says, this says man, because they're trans. Guess I'm just not going to do dick about it. No, that doesn't happen, Steve. Sorry. That's not how reality works.
Well, then what about a compromise where the driver's license or whatever the documentation has sex, male, and what I identify as female? Is that a
you
good
mean some kind
compromise
of like, do you mean some kind of like symbol on there? Like a symbol that indicates that someone is trans? Like maybe like a triangle, maybe like a pink triangle? Do you think that that would be sufficient to make sure that everybody knows that the person is trans?
Well, since it's a physical thing, and yes, it's a fact.
Do you not, I'm sorry, Steve, that was a joke at your expense, because do you not know about the pink triangle? Do you not know this is an existing symbol that the Nazis used? Do you know? Sorry, I couldn't hear you because I was in the middle of talking, actually. Do you not know about how the Nazis marked trans and queer people?
Yeah, I understand the star.
So you want America to do the thing that Nazi Germany did and put a sign on trans people so that everybody knows? Because we're not just talking about the doctors, Steve. Do you think that when I get pulled over for speeding, that the doctor needs to know what genitals I have? Do you think that that's relevant for them?
Well, we already discussed certain things are relevant. Like,
can you answer the question,
Steve? So when Lux gets pulled over for speeding, the police officer needs to be aware of their genitals and what they look like and everything. That's important for them to write a ticket.
Well, let's say they go to prison. Should
that's not the question, Steve. Answer the question. Answer the question, Steve.
And it's just, you keep jumping to these weird situations as if no one's going to check someone's sex or gender in these extreme situations. Life-saving medical care, going to prison. And your solution here is that they should carry identifying documentation to tell everybody that they are trans. Anybody who looks at their ID, they should have this marker on there to out themselves to everybody. And you don't see how that's really weird and dumb?
Well, so trans women should be sent to women's prisons?
Literally,
Can you
yes.
answer a straight question? Can you answer a straight question? Is it possible for you to stick on topic and answer the question?
Well, if you don't look at the broader picture, yeah, you're going to have a screwed up worldview. It's just crazy.
It's not about the broader picture. It's about what you are suggesting. You are suggesting that we should put a marker on people's IDs to denote their gender identity and whether they're trans. I don't know if you do the same thing for gay people. Do gay people need a special marker on their ID to identify? What about different religions? What do you want to do? Like, this is just such a fucking stupid argument to say that they should be outing themselves every time they go to the liquor store. They need to make sure somebody knows what their genitals look like when they want to buy a bottle of wine, just in case they ever need to be sent to prison, and nobody thinks of any other way to check besides looking at just this one document.
Well, it's supposed to be illegal.
Yeah, it's famous, so you don't get searched. You don't get searched when you go to jail. None of that happens. You know, there's no medical examination. None of that. None of that.
It's an identification document, Steve. Steve, hold on, Steve, real quick. Hold on, Steve, real quick. It's an identification document. If I get married and I change my last name, then that change should be reflected on my identity documents. If I'm 150 pounds, that should be on my identity documents. We're not going to put, 10 pounds or whatever I was when I was born. So it's supposed to match your appearance and your current, how you're living your life. So if you are born with a penis, but you look like a woman, for the purposes of not having the fucking cashier take your license away and call the police because they think that you're being fraudulent. Like you're claiming that it's fraud to change your gender marker, but what is actually happening is you're opening up trans people to being accused of fraud because their gender marker on their ID doesn't match their appearance.
Well,
do you think that's reasonable for the cashier to confiscate my ID?
If you insist that the ID is incorrect, yeah, then you want to do fraud. But if the government doesn't want to participate in that, then yeah, they should put, like I said, as a compromise, sex, male, what you identify.
So you just want America to be Nazi Germany. Like, I get it. I understand. I know that that's your underlying ideology, but like, I just really wish that you had the balls to admit you like Hitler, you like Nazi Germany, and you want our country to be that.
So Nazis are truth seekers, and
I think you think that.
It does not surprise me that you admire the Nazis as truth seekers. That is not shocking to me at all, Steve.
Well, you're the one that said that the Nazis would want to put on the truth or have truth. I mean, that's the whole thing.
The pink triangle, so that everybody knows what you are.
This is such a lazy fucking cop-out, Steve, because, again, can't stress enough, what you are advocating for here is not the truth. The biological, scientific reality is that sex and gender are different things, and they're not necessarily congruent. This is not a controversial idea scientifically. This is literally in introductory biology textbooks. I have yet to have a single class, textbook, professor, anything that is argued differently, and I'm not just arguing from authority here. I also can reason you through it very fucking easily. It's like evolution. It's like the age of the earth. It's just basic fucking science. So you are advocating for something untruthful to be pushed on here, or you're advocating for just sex and for gender to not exist, or you're advocating for trans people to all out themselves anytime they go to the pharmacy, anytime they go to the liquor store, anytime they go to vote, anytime they get pulled over, anytime they go to the doctor, anytime anybody ever looks at their ID, they now get a sneak peek at their fucking crotch. Like, it's just stupid. It's really fucking weird. And what Lux is saying here, I know that they're being hyperbolic, saying you're just a fucking Nazi, but at the end of the day, you're calling in as MAGA. You're calling in supporting the fucking shit that the country's doing right now, and you're advocating for these weird fucking, like, forced markers for queer people. Yeah, that's Nazi shit, dude. There's a reason why the first books the Nazis burned were about trans people.
Well, like I said, you do a compromise. You put the sex, male, what you identify on there. Then you have the best of both worlds.
So you weren't listening at all. That's not a compromise. That is oppression.
Do you know,
Only
Steve?
if somebody
Maybe
doesn't
I
like
think
you.
maybe we're operating on just like different information, maybe, which is obvious. But like, I want to help you out a little bit. Like, do you know that trans people, on the whole, have a harder time getting a job and securing housing because they are trans and for no other reason? Are you aware of that fact? Just please give me a quick yes or no.
Well, yes, because
Okay, thank you.
well,
You're
I
aware of
don't know
that.
about
So
housing.
you think, hold on,
I
real
don't,
quick. That
I
was a
don't
yes
see
or no
why
question, Steve.
housing is
That was a yes or no question. I'm ready to ask my next question. So you're aware that trans people, on the whole, have a harder time securing a job and securing housing, and yet you want there to be an obvious marker, even for trans people who completely have assimilated into their target gender. Like there are trans women who you would never know that they're trans, and you want them to be even more vulnerable to being denied jobs and housing, which, to be clear, are things that you need to live in this country. We don't have subsidized healthcare for the most part. Like it's not, we don't have Medicare for all. People's insurance is tied to their jobs. And if you are homeless, you are at risk of a lot of things. Sexual assault, exposure, like a lot of different stuff is very bad for your health to be homeless. So you want your compromise position, Steve. I just want to reiterate this to you. Your compromise position is to put trans people in a situation where they are even more likely to not be able to get a job or have a place to live.
Well, I'm uncomfortable with lying.
You
That's
are just
such a
dodging the
loser
point.
argument.
You are dodging the point.
There
Can
are
you
20. Let me make
Jesus
it
fucking
even
Christ.
simpler. We'll just talk about one simple thing, just the housing thing, because
Yeah.
Steve seemed to take umbrage with that. There are over, I think it's 22 states off the top of my head. It used to be, so there's some arguments for either one. But anyway, at least 20 states in this country, including the state that I live in, Oklahoma, and I'm pretty sure including Florida, where you live, there is no protection for gender identity or sexual orientation in housing discrimination. It is
Yeah.
completely legal for a landlord to evict somebody from their house if they find out that they are trans. That is a legal thing to do. You are saying that when they sign up to get in that house and they show them their ID, they're telling their landlord right away, hey, I'm a trans person, I'm moving in, which is going to increase those sorts of things happening. Are you okay with that or not?
Well, if the documentation the trans person has is fraudulent and it's not what they are, well then that would have to be a legal thing
You
for
can't
fraud, but not.
you
I'm
can't
gonna
hold a
ask-
thought
nope.
in your head for more than 5
I'm going
seconds,
to ask
Steve.
the same question again
Just
until you
repeat it,
answer
yeah.
it, Steve. Are you okay with trans people being kicked out of their homes because they are trans? Yes or no?
No, if they pay their bills, they should be able to stay
Okay,
there.
great. And are you aware that that happens a lot and is legal?
Well, it's probably what legal, but it doesn't mean it's right.
I didn't ask you if it was right. I know I said 2 questions there, and so that must have been really fucking hard. So we agreed that it's legal. Now we'll do the next one. Do you agree that it does happen?
Well, isn't what's right and what's truthful the most important and paramount?
I'm going to ask
Paramount?
again, Steve. Do you agree that that is happening?
Well, like I said, if you pay your bill, I don't have any problem with anything if you pay your bill.
I didn't ask you what you have a problem with, Steve. I know this is a really tough question for you, but it's really quite simple. I explained that people can be kicked out of their house for being trans. We agreed that that's a bad thing. Now I'm asking you a different question. And the question is, do you agree that that does actually happen here in the U.S.?
Oh, well, if they're kicked out, that means they just signed a contract that allows that to happen.
Nope. It means that they live in a state where that's legal. You don't have to have in a contract, I'm allowed to do legal things, and you have to agree to every legal thing that I can do. It's legal in that state. You and I agreed that it's immoral and wrong, but it is legal. And so when it happens, that's a problem, right? So now the question that I was going to ask you next, because I understand this one's too hard for you, so we'll just move on to the next question, is do you support measures that make that happen more or less?
Well, the measures that would make it happen less is before you sign the contract, you put that in there that they can't do that. That's
That's
on
not
you.
how.
Okay,
That's not how
great.
it works, Steve.
So,
Holy fucking
so
shit.
your
It-
so
it
your
is in
dumbass
contract
opinion
law.
is that they should have a marker on their ID outing them as trans, and then whenever they try to get housing, they should negotiate a brand new contract with their landlord, acknowledging that they are trans and acknowledging that the landlord can't kick them out, even though that's their legal right to do. And you still
Well,
don't see how that's dumb as all fuck.
It's a contract between two people. The state don't have to be involved in that.
Do you
Yeah,
not
have you ever lived in a
understand?
rent-
Very strong.
Have you ever signed a landlord contract? Have you ever had to go looking for housing, Steve?
Yeah, are you not familiar with the concept of like discrimination protections? And like
This is
it's
so
not
fucking
it's not in
stupid.
the contract that's like you're not allowed to kick someone out because they're black, right? It's not in the contract because it's already the law. You're adding to the law when you do a contract. You're like we are adding an additional legal agreement on top of what the law is. You cannot kick someone out of their house for being black. It's against the law. But you can kick someone out of their house just for being trans in many states where there are no protections for gender identity specifically. So again,
Not
like
if you put it in the contract.
hey, listen real quick, Steve. If a
Not
landlord
if you put
would
it
have
in the
kicked you out for being trans, if that's the kind of person that they are, if they would have kicked you out, if they would have declined to have you in their rental because you're trans, do you genuinely think that you're going to have a successful time putting a clause in your lease agreement that they're not allowed to kick you out for being trans?
Well, if you want protections, you got to follow the contract. You make sure it's there. The onus is on you.
I don't think Steve is capable of abstraction. I'm going to be
don't-
real with you. I
do you
don't
think-
think that he is capable of this.
Steve,
can
do
I
you
ask you
think-
just
I just wanna-
I'm sorry, Lux. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead. You
I
do
just want to
your
ask,
next one.
do you
No.
think there should be, like in the same way that it's illegal to kick someone out of the house for being black, do you think it should also be illegal to kick someone out of the house for being trans? Do you agree that we should have legal protections in housing for trans people? So let's, because you say, Steve, that you want us to have it on our ID that we're trans.
You're confusing him. You're adding too
I know.
much. He's
I know. It's
confused.
too many questions. So if it says on my ID that I'm trans, do you think it should just be illegal, regardless of the contract, for someone to not give me a house because I'm trans?
Well, no. If you sign a contract with somebody else,
Oh
and
my
you
fucking
stipulate
God.
that you're-
You are legitimately incapable of listening to anything we have said. I'm asking you a specific question. Do you think there should be discrimination protections for trans people in housing?
well, if you said it's legal in the state to do that, then you make sure in that state that you do it.
Oh my God. That was a yes or no question, Steve. Steve,
I don't. He's
that was
not
a yes or no
capable of
question.
abstraction. I really
know.
don't think he's capable of abstraction. I just want to test it. I
Yeah,
just
do your
want to
thing.
see.
Do your thing.
No, I'm just focusing on that. Is Steve, what was the last thing you ate today?
The last thing I ate today was chicken and rice.
Okay.
You
How
are
long
capable of
ago did you
answering
eat that
questions.
chicken and rice? How long ago did you eat that chicken and rice?
It was about 2 hours ago.
Okay. Here's the big question, Steve. How would you feel right now if you hadn't eaten that chicken and rice 2 hours ago?
Hungry.
Exactly. That's called a hypothetical. That's how abstraction works. See, I didn't say that you didn't eat the chicken and rice, and I didn't say you were hungry. We just answered a hypothetical situation, right? We took a situation that's real, and we acted like it wasn't to see what was going on. So now we're going to do the same thing with Lux's question. The situation that's real right now is that it's legal to kick trans people out of their houses. And the question that they were asking you is, do you think we should fucking change that or not?
No, I think the person that's trans is responsible for making sure the contract won't allow it. That the onus is
Excellent.
on them.
So just the same way, let me be more clear. Do you extend that to any other classes? Do you think that we should revoke all civil rights laws and it's up to black people to make sure that they sign contracts that make it so that they can't be discriminated against?
Well, that would be very good because then you'd get rid of the government.
Okay, sure. So, in your fucking opinion, in order, like, go back to Jim Crow era, right? So we're out in here the middle of the 1900s, and in order to solve racial segregation and segregated schools, segregated water fountains, segregated restaurants, segregated bathrooms, segregated buses, in order to fix that, Black people should have just walked around with contracts and found the non-racists to sign a document to say, I won't hurt you because you're black. And that is how they should have just systematically dismantled racism. That's how we should have done that. We should not have had the government pass the Civil Rights Act and just guarantee that this protected class of people by race are all protected equally. That's what your opinion is?
Well, I agree with you that Democrats were bad because that was all the Democrats doing.
Not what I asked you. Not what I asked you. I asked you, do you think that it was good that the government passed the Civil Rights Act, or do you think that every black person should have just entered into a specific contract with every white person that they had to interact with? If they went to a restaurant, they had to sign a contract saying that they will serve food even though they're black. And then they had that and they couldn't sue for discrimination.
Okay, so then what you're saying is even though I'm a white guy, I can change my driver's license to say I'm black?
That's actually not what he was saying at all. What he was doing was
close to what I was saying.
A question for you to answer, Steve. He wasn't stating anything. He was asking you a question.
Okay. I know you ate the chicken and rice 2 hours ago. I'm pretending that you didn't, right? Now, I know that we passed the Civil Rights Act. I am now pretending like we didn't and asking you what the solution is. Should individual black people have a contract with a white person to say you can't kick me out of my house because I'm black? Or is it better that the government steps in and passes a law that says nobody can kick somebody out of their house for their skin color? Which is the better option, Steve? I know you ate the chicken and rice, and I know we have the Civil Rights Act. I am now asking you this hypothetical situation. Which is the better option, Steve?
So are you talking apples and oranges and apples and apples? Because if you're talking apples and apples, then I should be able to change my color on my driver's license to black.
No, you shouldn't, because race isn't gender. Those are different things. And also, we're not talking about driver's licenses right now. We're talking about housing discrimination. I know that this has been a 28-minute conversation. That's a long time for your brain to be turned on. But what we're talking about in this part of the conversation, Steve, is housing discrimination and when it's appropriate. Sex and gender identification and sexual orientation in a lot of the country are not protected under these housing discrimination laws. So I can even ask a different question that's in the other class. Do you think that gay people should have to sign contracts with every random fucking straight person to say you can't kick me out of my house because I'm gay?
Well, I think you're kind of silly to bring in race. When race, you're born something that way, but gender, you're not. You're not, in your instance.
Yes, you are born a certain gender, Steve. Gender and sex are different things. You're either born trans or not. Nobody's saying you're not born this way. The question is just an analogy. We're taking an analogous thing.
If you would like to switch to something else, we could say religious discrimination. Because religious discrimination is illegal, and it's not something you're born as. It's something you can change your religion, you can renounce your religion, you can be raised as one thing and decide to be something else. But regardless of how you came to possess that religious belief, it is illegal to discriminate. Like in housing, it's illegal to kick out somebody because they're Christian or because they're Muslim. So maybe, like, would you prefer to go with that, Steve? Do you think that every Muslim...
Yes.
Should every Muslim person in this country...
Do Christians, because he doesn't care about Muslims.
Sure. Should every Christian have to say, hey, I am a Christian. There needs to be a clause in my lease that says you're not allowed to kick me out.
And here's my driver's license with a marker identifying me as Christian in case anybody ever needs to know.
Well, as far as I know, we have kind of like freedom of religion, but not freedom of gender.
You don't think we have freedom of gender?
Get that woman strapped by her ankle to the stove. She can't go anywhere. She has no gender freedom. What the fuck, Steve?
Oh my God. I love how you're dodged when we were talking about fucking segregation shit. What's to say? Well, I know Democrats were bad. Oh my God. That one and we don't have freedom of gender are the two, I think, dumbest moments of this call. Those were peak goofy, dude.
Well, I
absolutely fucking ridiculous.
you're allowed to think whatever you want about what you are. No one can stop you from thinking the wrong stuff. But
No one can stop
this is
you
a
from
legal
believing
thing.
in Sky Daddy. No one can
Right.
stop you from believing in Delulu fucking Sky Daddy and heaven and hell shit. Okay? So you think it's okay for me to discriminate against Christians, to say, I will not allow a Christian to live in my building that I own. I will not rent to a Christian. You think that should be legal? And that every
think
single
it's kind of
Christian
crazy
should
to-
have to negotiate every
conflate-
single time to get a special clause in their lease? Or do you think it would be a better option for there to just be a law that says you're not allowed to do that discrimination?
Well, I think if you're going to go around and mocking people for believing in Sky Daddy, you should be able to mock people for believing that there's something they're not.
You're not capable
Nobody
of
said-
following a thread
Yeah.
of question, dude. You just keep
Nobody
dodging
said you
and
can't
jumping
mock
around
people,
and
Steve.
retreating because you know that your position is indefensible, Steve. I think you are dodging because you know that this is fucking stupid and that you can't possibly justify it. So you just refuse to engage and justify your beliefs. Like, do you actually have any justification for why you believe what you believe? Like, do you have like any thoughts in your head whatsoever, actually?
Well, you're the one that brought up race and Sky Daddy and all this, and
Yeah,
making
yes.
them
As
apples
examples.
and
As
apples.
examples.
Doesn't sound-
As examples.
Those are, yes, analogies, Steve. Examples. If I say an airplane flies through the sky like a bird, I don't mean that it actually has feathers and flaps its wings. I'm making an example, an analogy. I'm just drawing a comparison between two comparable things that are not all 100% the same. And so that's really hard when you struggle like you do, where Luxander was just talking about Christians, and you said, well, I mean, what about making fun of people? Nobody ever argued you can't make fun of people. That was just the next easy dodge for you to jump to, because it was easier to do that than think.
Well, no, because
Hey, really quick question for you, Steve. You were talking about how bad the Democrats are earlier on. We were talking about segregation and everything. Who do the KKK vote with today? Do the KKK vote for Democrats or Republicans? Just out of curiosity.
well, I'm sure the KKK, since they're racist, and they don't like the way. Let me put it this way: since the KKK doesn't like the intolerance of the Democrats, yeah, they probably would want to vote for the people that don't really care what they do, because they're such a minority group. They're just insignificant.
That
who
was
would they vote with?
almost a thought.
Who do they vote
Almost.
with now?
You could hear the hamster running out of breath on the wheel, chugging along. But we're going to try again. Does the KKK vote for the Democrats or the Republicans today, Steve?
Well, if the KKK were trans people, they'd all vote for the Democrats.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
You shit the bed again, dude. We tried to get you there, and you
I
just
feel like you were
cannot
so
stop
close
losing.
to actually answering a question besides what you ate 2 hours
He got
ago.
scared.
We were
He
so
got
close.
scared.
Because you would have to
There was
admit that the
almost a
KKK is
thought.
on your side. The KKK votes the way that you do.
They vote for Republicans, dude. That's why saying, well, the Democrats were bad back then doesn't make any fucking sense because of the whole party switch and everything, because political thought kind of changed. And now, today, in the year of our Dark Lord 2026, the racist people aren't fucking Democrats. Granted, I'm not a Democrat either. Much farther to the left than that, I know. But at the end of the day, man, it's a lazy cop-out. Also, sex and gender are different things. Also, telling people to out themselves based on their gender identity, sexuality, and whatever on their driver's licenses is stupid fucking Nazi shit. Also, the Civil Rights Act is a good thing and should be expanded. Also, housing discrimination is bad. These are all the concepts that have been too fucking big for your tiny brain, Steve. It's been a miserable call. Would you like to try thinking one more time? I feel I have this little glimmer of hope that you might be able to try an actual independent thought. Do you want to try together, or do you just want to be done? This has been too tiring for you.
My thought is, if you're trans and you don't want to be kicked out, it's on you to put that in the contract.
And if a black person doesn't want to be kicked out of their house for being black, should they have a contract that states that? Or is the Civil Rights Act a better option for them? Should we have the Civil Rights Act, or should we have every black person signs a contract saying that you can't discriminate against them? Which is the better option, Steve?
Well, I think if you want less government, you put it in the contract, and it's between you and the lender.
And there you have it. And there you have it. Steve believes that in order to fight racism, we should do away with protections for different races, and every person, every ethnic minority should have a contract that they sign with every white person they deal with saying, you don't get to be racist towards me. And same thing with sex. If we want to fight sexism, nope, don't have any protections for sex. Don't have any protections for religion. None of that. Every Christian who goes out there, if they don't want to be kicked out of their house for being Christian, they should sign a special contract explaining the details of their religion and saying, you can't discriminate against me because I'm Christian, because I'm a woman, because I'm black, whatever. That's Steve's fucking world. That's the country he wants to live in. What a fucking hellhole.
Well, I mean, if you want to say religion is made up and gender's made up, I guess that's an equal argument.
When did I say gender's made up, Steve? When did I say that?
Well, it's not actual physical fact.
It absolutely is, Steve. I've said that several times. I know, I probably used too big of words. I talked about biology and science and how this is like academic consensus. I know those are really big, complicated terms, but what I've said several times repeatedly across this call and every other show I've ever been on, sex and gender are different things. They're both fucking biological, social constructs. They have like different parts to them. Some of them are socially constructed. Some of them are biologically constructed. Gender is more social. Sex is more biological, right? This is complicated stuff, Steve. I know it's two thoughts at the same time. That's scary. But at the end of the day, no one's saying it's made up.
I agree with you. Gender is a social construct, not based on any truth.
Nope. That's not actually what I said. I didn't say it isn't based on any truth. Do you believe that psychology is based on truth, Steve? Do you believe that people have minds and thoughts?
Well, is gender a social construct or is it actual fact?
Are you going to answer a single fucking question, Steve?
Nope. We're going to ask you that same question again. We'll do it again and again as long as we have to. Do people have minds and thoughts? Is that an objective fact?
Yes, they have minds and thought. Are they always correct?
Right.
No.
So that means that the study of psychology, the study of minds and thoughts and how our minds and thoughts work, the science of studying those things, right? That would be a reliable way to learn things about this stuff, right?
Right.
Right. And what is the academic consensus among psychologists? The best psychologists in the world, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Psychological Association, what do they all agree on this topic about sex and gender?
Well, that's not a hard science. That's just fuzzy social construct stuff.
Let's stick to a harder science then. What about biomedical sciences? What do the best doctors and biologists in the World Health Organization, the American Medical Association, is the academic consensus on sex and gender amongst these leading professional organizations of the best biomedical scientists in the world? What do they say about sex and gender, Steve?
Well, sex is your chromosomes, and gender is what a social construct thing you have made up in your head.
Nope. You don't know dick about this. And this is, one again, I'm glad that we got to this point in the call because this is the whole point of the show. MAGA people don't have any fucking values. They don't have any morals. They don't have any beliefs of their own. All they have is hatred of other people. And thank you very much, Steve, for showing me you don't know anything about biology here. You don't know anything about psychology here. You don't know what sex and gender are. You don't know how any of this stuff works. All you want to do is put a forced marker on people's IDs to out them based on their gender identities so that everybody gets to know who they are, and then also make sure they're allowed to be kicked out of their houses, and every black person and every fucking woman and every fucking trans person and every religious person, everybody who isn't a white, straight, heterosexual, cisgendered Christian man, everybody has to go through all these extra steps to sign contracts to make sure that they're protected and treated like a fucking human being. Thank you very much, Steve, for showing me your shitty-ass worldview.
If you've got to sign a contract, you make sure it's right. The onus is on you for what you sign for.
And Steve, I say the onus is on the government to make sure that everybody in the citizens, all the population, are treated like humans. Everybody should be given equal rights.
Sounds like you're leaning more to the Nazi side or the fascist side of heavy government.
Actually, I'm leaning more to the American side. I believe in more the American side. I believe that we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, should ordain and establish some sort of thing that we might call a constitution of the United States of America, which enshrines protections, equal protection under the law, equal rights for all people, the belief that all people are created equal. That is something that I believe in, Steve. Sad to hear that it isn't something that you believe in.
Well, you believe in liberty, right?
Yeah, a lot more than you.
Okay, so then there should be less government intrusion in these contracts.
So you think people should have the freedom to discriminate against people, and you don't think that in any way impacts the freedom of the people that they're discriminating against?
Well, I don't think discrimination's good, but I don't think I should be able to tell them not to discriminate. I mean,
okay. So you just think that some people are more equal than others. I'm done talking to you. We have another caller on the line who wants to talk about sex and gender and might be a more serious caller. So I encourage you to stick around and listen. But I'm done talking to you.
Yeah, Steve, you would not want to live in the world that you are promoting if you were anybody else but yourself. And I don't think you're smart enough to abstract out to think about that. But if you were a black, queer, trans, Muslim woman, you would not want to live in the world that you are describing right now. And that's the simple fact of the matter. You are speaking from a place of extreme fucking privilege because you have never had to be protected by the government, so you don't see the value of governmental protections. I encourage you to read a fucking book and get bent. Fuck off, dude.
This is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard the way I pronounced tranquility there with a weird accent. It's because in my head, I was playing the school rock song, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility."
Yeah. You added like a syllable.
For the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I don't care how cringy it was. I went for the whole song. I couldn't stop. We're gonna do.
Wait. Before we take our next call, first of all, hit the like button, y'all. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. I see the super chats. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you. But if you don't have any money, drop us a like and maybe hit the share button and then click copy on that link. It helps us out a lot more than you think it does. And also, if you're done with listening to us talk about gender and you would rather talk about socialism or capitalism or abortion or why MAGA sucks, any of those things. Actually, don't tell me why MAGA sucks. I need you as a MAGA to call in, and so I can tell you that you suck. Don't call in if you want to just shoot the shit about how MAGA sucks. We have a number on the screen there: 336-543-2101. Call us. You'll get in the queue. We'll talk to you. We do have somebody waiting, but we've got open lines otherwise. So if you want to get in here and have any disagreements with us on any of these political topics, we're happy to talk to you today.
I literally cannot recite that preamble without hearing that song, and it's a worm. It's an earworm. It hurts. It bores into my brain.
I love Schoolhouse Rock.
Graham, calling as a Republican who wants to talk about how you can't change someone's biological gender. That's what it says on the call screen. I'm going to make sure that's what he actually believes. Graham, you're on the line here with Forrest and Lux. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hey, that was a really great preamble of the beginning of the Constitution. Actually, I should learn that too. And that was a really interesting call you guys did, Steve. I actually thought you guys made some good points. He made some points, too, I thought were interesting, but I don't think he articulated himself very well. So first things first, cool. I agree with you.
Hold on a second there, Graham. Graham, just 1 second. Yeah. Before we get started, one thing that Steve had that you don't have going on that I noticed here, we have about 1,500 people watching right now. When they talk about you in the chat in the third person, would you prefer that they refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
They can refer to me as however they want.
So any pronouns, you don't care?
Any/all. So progressive of you, Graham.
That's a very progressive stance. Very cool. Okay, cool. Now, Graham, any and all pronouns, calling in from California. What would you like to talk about?
So I don't think Steve's right. I think you guys are actually right really quickly about there's no fraud by legally changing your gender to whatever you want it to be. And I think most reasonable people would say that they don't care. They go about their daily life. If you want to be a guy and be referred to as a man, but you're born a woman, then go do it. And there are absolutely important procedures that can take place to change your gadgets. People who are hermaphrodites are born with two sets of pieces, and so there's certain circumstances where those come up, and there should be provisions for that. I wanted to know one thing from where you guys stand, because I'm a little bit ignorant, but I have my own views on this, and I didn't know that there were so many restrictions against transgenders in these other states. Is that because there's a religious aspect to renting to a transgender? Say a Christian is renting to that, and there's a religious protection that says that they legally can discriminate because it doesn't work with their religion. And what do you guys think about that if that's the case?
Okay, so before we get there, really quick, I appreciate the fact that you were asking good questions and that you're into a dialogue. I'm not trying to get on to you. I just want to let you know for future reference, the term hermaphrodite is an outdated term that's usually considered offensive when talking about people. So the term is intersex, if you ever want to talk about that again. That was just one thing that we
heard
were talking about. That's fine.
Also,
again, I'm not trying to be a dick towards you. We were just kind of giggling back here because that's an old term. You know what I mean?
And I would also like to add, it's transgender people or just trans people and not transgenders. Just, again, it's a little grammatical thing. Just letting you know.
Gotcha.
And we're not trying to be assholes to you. It's just such a touchy situation right now, especially with the political climate against these folks. We want to be very careful about these things. And we also want to help you have good conversations in the future.
I will say I love your word choice of gadgets. That made me laugh. That was very cute
great.
and very fun. Yeah, I appreciated that. So sorry, can you restate your question? Because I completely forgot what it was.
He was saying that... sorry, go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Forrest. That's okay.
I was going to restate your question for you, and to make sure that I understood it, was that do we think that the restrictions against transgender people in these different states that we're talking about is primarily a religious thing or something else? Is that a fair summary of your question?
Yes. Is that where those laws allowing that discrimination is coming from?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, definitely. Because, Christian nationalism has a long history in this country. But what I think is more big about it is that because this country has always been so very parochial and so focused on like this really, I'm going to use some buzzwords here that, MAGA folks don't like, but like this really Eurocentric and, very white supremacist and Christian nationalist kind of framework that we try to group everybody in these really simple boxes. Trans people are just now starting to come to the forefront of political discussion. And so trans people have been here the entire time. They've been here since the dawn of humanity, right? There have always been and will always be trans people. We're just now starting to talk about them more. And so it's the exact same thing like with gay people. Like, homosexuals have been around forever. There were always gay people in America. At one point, it was illegal to be gay in America. You could get locked up for it. You get locked up for cross-dressing. There were laws in certain parts of the country where women had to wear however many articles of quote, feminine clothing and shit like that. Like, we were very strict about it. And then,
there were
in our generation,
laws back in the day. I remember seeing like old pictures of chicks on the beach, and they're all covered up. And then I understand there's a lot of laws. I was former military. I mean, there used to be laws back in the day that wouldn't allow gay people in the military. And my uncle was in the Navy. He was a closeted gay man his entire life. We never really knew for 100% certainty until he died, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So I'm a Republican. If I were to look at a fuel tank, I'm about 3/4 away full, and I just think, people should be able to live their life how they are, and I kind of disagree with the whole transgender discrimination thing. I would like to know, do you think that there's any way that there's a better course for these people like in that community to find safer spaces for them to live, wouldn't it be better for them if they were in like a commercial apartment community versus like shacking up with some old religious lady who just doesn't want them there after they find out
nothing is stopping that corporation from that type of discrimination either.
Right. Would they be if trans people were to all go, live in this place, would that place be equal to everywhere else in terms of like value and living standards and all those things?
I would say they're probably not. I'd say there's probably different values if you're living with someone who doesn't want you there versus being in a community where you're generally accepted. So I think maybe you're right.
I'm talking about the standard of living just in terms of like, would they be provided equal opportunities and equal, like the municipal water supply and electricity and things like they would be treated equally. They would just be separate. They would be equal but separate.
Oh, like separate but equal? I don't like that idea of them being separate from equal.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
The thing is,
so you see what I'm talking about? What you're describing is just segregation.
It is, yeah. But also, like, trans people are born all the time. Like, I'm from Kansas, a state that has just cracked down dramatically on trans rights, and it cost me like $20,000 to relocate to Oregon. So are we gonna subsidize trans people to move to California? Like, what kind of policy? Like, I don't like practically. That's not reasonable. I'm very sad that I had to move away from the place that I'm from, that I was born. The idea that I was born somewhere that just hates me on a fundamental level, and that I had to leave behind like my friends and the familiarity and my family and all this kind of stuff. Like, I'm happy to be on the West Coast. It's beautiful here too, but like, I am very sad that I had to do that, and it was an enormous effort. And my husband had to get a new job and everything. Like, it was a big deal. We upheaved our entire lives to move here. And so there's like issues with this proposition of like, well, don't you want to live somewhere where you're accepted? Yes. But I think that I deserve to live wherever, and there should be adequate legal protections.
Sure. I think it's a fair and statement to have. I think most people, left and right, would be on board with that. And I think those places that have those discriminations should really look that in the mirror and see if that's really what we stand for as Americans. Do you guys think that maybe if they rebranded the way that people looked at the transgender community and transgender people, that would help them out? And I say this because when I went to Thailand, people who are transgenders proudly call themselves like ladyboys, and that's at their community, and in that society, in that culture, that's kind of celebrated. How do we bridge that gap where people can look at these transgender people and feel like, hey, let's just celebrate that they're okay with it, but they're doing their own thing, and it's not going to affect my life? How do we get? I feel like
that's a question you need to ask your representatives as a Republican. Like, your representatives, the people that you vote for, are the ones who are pushing this narrative that trans people are fraudulent and we're toxic and we're destroying society and we're dominating women's sports. Like, that is your people doing that. So if you're like talking about a rebrand, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do as a trans? Like, I am already advocating that trans people are normal and we just want to live our lives, and we should be treated like we're normal, and we shouldn't hide it from children that we exist, and it's not a sexual fetish or whatever. Like, I'm already doing all that advocacy, but clearly the problem is the machine of Republican rhetoric.
And there's a difference between being, a transgender person and having autogynephilia. There are
autogynephilia is fake. It's not real. To be clear, I just want to be clear. Autogynephilia is fake. It's not real.
Okay. Well, I'll just take you at your word. I don't know enough about it. I just know what I've heard on the surface. But when you talking about transgenders in women's sports, I have this more nuanced opinion as a Republican. My thing is this: if the women are okay with it, then fuck it. Let them play ball.
So,
but
the big
thing is, think maybe there should be, hey, is everyone okay with this? It's a governing body informing everyone, and then it's a mutual sport.
So you think that we should let people's feelings overcome the facts of the situation? Like, if the fact is that trans women do not have a biological advantage because they don't, that's the facts. that we should capitulate to someone's feelings, that someone's feelings should supersede the scientific biological facts. That seems crazy.
Yeah, the big thing that's happening over and over here.
That
you're talking about
transgender.
Sorry, Graham. Transgender people,
please.
Graham.
Yes,
transgender people. And what we're talking about here, it's like saying blacks. You know what I mean? It's just don't do that. But like the thing that we keep coming back to here, you're talking about like all these different situations where we're talking about trans people. Trans people are a tiny percent of the population. Science is 100% on their side. Like I talked about with the last caller there, like I'm a biologist and I can tell you like this is not a controversial opinion in biology at all. That we know sex and gender are different things. We know that they're not congruent. We know that makes sense. It's fine. We are dedicating so much of our brain power and so much of our political like space and so much of our news time and so many laws and so many rules and so many things all to arguing about where these people can exist and where these people can pee and how these people can play sports. And what I don't understand is why any small government, libertarian leaning Republican or whatever, any Republican that I've ever met before the age of Trump, I think would have been horrified that the government is caring this much about some people who are not medically or biologically controversial in any way, who just want to live their lives and do what everybody else wants to do and live in the same ways that they have
you made that
since the beginning of time. So, like,
because
I appreciate you bringing up these different things.
Our political sphere. I'm sorry for jumping in here.
No, you're fine.
You're right.
You're fine.
I did the math myself. I divided like the amount of transgender people in our country divided by like how many counties in our country and our population. I think it was like 3 or 4 transgender people per county. It's a very, 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 very small part of our entire population, yet it does make up so much of the discourse in our country. And I do think you're right. I think it's ridiculous, but I think the reason Republicans on my side of the field play that card so much is because it's a very good tool to use to rally the base against the left. And that's just my view of it. But just one more thing before we circle back, and I hope I'm not stealing all the airtime here, but
you're fine.
I was under the impression that biological males who transition to being a woman and compete in women's sports do have still the biological advantage of being a male, where your muscle density is greater and you have an advantage. Are you saying that has been factually proven as incorrect?
I mean, yeah. So there's a couple of different angles that we can look at this from. We can look at what the IOC itself has done with commissioned studies. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence from trans women who are like, I literally can't open the fucking pickle jar anymore. So if trans women lose muscle mass on estrogen, which they do, and all of these sporting bodies require that trans women be on estrogen for a period of time, usually 2 years, and testosterone suppressing medication usually goes along with that. So after 2 years, they have I think it's like 15% less less muscle mass, but they're still moving around like bigger bones than cis women do. So if their muscle mass more closely matches cis women, but they're still moving around on average taller skeletons, like they've also been shown to have a disadvantage in lower body strength compared to cisgender women. It's been 20 years that the International Olympic Committee has allowed trans people to participate in the sports with those medical restrictions. And trans women, I don't think there's been a single time that a trans woman has won a medal at the Olympics. So basically, like, whether you feel like there is an advantage, what we actually practically see in the real world is that trans women don't possess an advantage. Like, they don't overwhelmingly win. Like, Leah Thomas is the example that people bring up. She won first place in one race. But did you know that the very same day she tied 5th place with Riley Gaines and she got 8th place, which was last in another race. So on the same day, she came dead last, first, and tied 5th. So that's not an advantage,
I actually
really.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
because
that.
Republicans like to spin this and tell lies.
Well, there's that headline that was going around as well about like this trans woman runner beats like 800 women in a race, and they don't talk about the fact that it was like a progressive, like long-term marathon thing, and she came in like 800, she beat 800 women, but there were like 8,000 women ahead of her that they didn't, they're just, she came in like 800th place, but that means she beat those 800 women, and it's like, yeah, dude, it sucks. And there's
Gotcha.
there's a lot of spin around this shit. And I did not give you the proper details, so I just remembered the headline. But like there's a lot of spin around this shit and a lot of fear mongering around this shit. And a lot of people, like, we have this fucking loser in the chat right here that just had to get timed out because they're commenting over and over about how, like, the trans women are going to go in the bathroom and they're going to corner little girls, are going to corner women, because that doesn't fucking happen. That's not a thing. And the big fear is
Coward.
that, you're right, they've been invited a million times. They're not going to do it. They're chicken shit.
Yeah, I know.
But they've been, like, the actual fear here is that a cisgender man is going to put on a dress and say, I'm a transgender woman now, and walk into the bathroom and assault somebody. So the problem is with cisgender men. The problem is that men are creepy and fucking evil. And then they take that problem out on trans people by forcing trans people into the men's trans women into the men's bathroom to get assaulted by the men. Because here's a fun fact. Trans people across the board, men and women, are four times more likely to be the victims of violent and sexual assault than any cis people are. And so you're taking these people who are a tiny minority, already extremely vulnerable, and blaming them for a problem that isn't their fault, and putting them into a more dangerous situation so they're going to get hurt more, and most importantly, not solving the problem, because now that same creepy man walks into the same woman's bathroom, doesn't put on a dress, and says, I'm a transgender man, I have to be in here, and it does the same creepy shit. And so, like, it's just fear-mongering and scapegoating and using trans people as a distraction tool to distract against the real problems in this country. The problems that we have, man, they're not left-right. Some of them are, but they're generally not left-right. They are top-bottom. The Epstein class is fucking all of us, and, like, that's what we should be fighting against. Sorry to go on a little tangent on you there, Graham, but, like, that's what's so frustrating to us on this show, you know?
Well, I appreciate you guys giving me insight on your side of the line on it, and you gave me a little bit of thought, things to think about as well as just on my end of the spectrum. Is there any other conversations or debates you guys are eager to get into? I'm happy to stay on the phone. I got another about 15 minutes if you guys want to discuss something else.
I just want to make sure we address your question. Yeah, this has been a good call. We have another 10 or 15 minutes for you. I don't want to do another one because
it might be shitty, and you've been really nice.
But your primary question that you asked was about can you, quote, change someone's biological gender? So I just want to make sure that we address your initial question, because we've ended up kind of talking about some other things here. So did you have any specific thoughts or questions around, like, biological sex and, like, how we can change it or anything?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. I got another call going on the line now, so I got to run. But you guys have a great day.
No worries.
You too, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.
Take care, man. Bye-bye. Can you imagine coming off of the Steve call and then having something that pleasant?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bet $1 million. You could have bet anything. I would have lost that bet. There's no way I could have predicted it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to feel like sometimes people are receptive to facts, you know? It's such a struggle doing this job and feeling like we're beating our heads against a concrete wall all the time, just trying to get through to people who will not be gotten to. And for someone to be like, no, you know what? I never thought of it that way. I'm going to think about it more. You've given me some things to mull over. I'm like, I have respect for that you're willing to be like, I need to go take some time to think about this and kind of go over it. And then I'll revise and maybe call back later or whatever.
Yeah. And maybe, you know, at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe he'll find something that we disagree with, or that we didn't know. It's like, fact check us, yo. Go look into this shit. Like, please. So, like, I know that was great. Graham is the kind of didn't throw up. Hey,
oh no.
I've been chugging this banana milkshake and I almost spewed it. Graham is the kind of Republican that I miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I miss that. That was great. With that, number still in the middle of the screen there, 336-543-2101, 336-543-2101, or use the web link in the description if you're outside of the U.S. We are still taking calls, specifically from MAGA folk. and also Christians, and also science deniers of all kinds. If you don't believe in evolution, if you don't believe in the difference between sex and gender, if you don't believe in the age of the earth, if you do believe that the Bible is the good book, if you do believe that we need Jesus Christ in our lives, if you do believe that Donald Trump is a good president, and if you do believe that ICE is doing a good job, this is the show for you to call in and talk to people who disagree with you vehemently. Again, that number is 336-543-2101. We have a couple more calls already on the line, another person already in the screening room, so keep on calling in, folks. We'll keep talking to you. In the meantime, surprise, we're going to switch it up a little bit by talking more about sex and gender. We're going to talk to Travis, who says that gender is not a social construct but objective truth. Travis, you are on the show with Forrest and Lux. How you doing today?
Hey, doing well. How are y'all?
I'm all right. Travis,
it's my birthday, so I'm living the dream.
Right? This is what they wanted to do when they woke up today.
Actually true.
We've got almost 2,000 people watching you right now, Travis. When they refer to you in the chat, would you refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
He is fine.
All right. Travis, pronouns he and him, calling in to talk about gender. What did you want to talk about specifically?
Well, not necessarily gender. I just got off. I just got off work and just ran across your podcast, and the little Steve guy had me tripping.
He's wild.
But just it was wild, and I'm a Republican, and really with my my status, I'm a hardworking man. I got 4 boys, and you would think I would be Democrat because of all the entitlement programs that they kind of promote. I like Trump, man, just because he gets stuff done. In the past, just politicians, man, they never get anything done, and I think people just hate Trump because he just actually gets something done. And
so, what specifically is he getting done that you support? Like, what's a specific policy that he has pushed through that you like?
Well, let's see. I mean, number one, y'all were talking about gender earlier, about a difference between. Now, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm a mechanic, but I don't think there's a difference. You know what I mean? And I don't think people are born gay or born trans. I got a cousin that, he transitioned after he had 3 kids with a woman, and he transitioned and completely transitioned, the full-blown deal. And we had a huge disagreement just simply, because he just got real radical real quick. And I was like, man, I'm not going to disown you because you've turned this way. But, I'm not going to let you come in there and sit down with my kids, right. It's just kind of crazy that Democrats seem to be more.
I'm sorry, Travis, to stop you. I just want to ask you what you mean by radical.
I just think that people that are more left have gone more radical and more not just using your common sense, and then not open to discussion.
Well, but that doesn't really help me understand.
Let me dig into this just for a second, if that's okay, because you said a lot there, Travis. You said a whole lot of stuff, and I kind of want to just.
I just got
no, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a lot there for me to dig into before we move on to something else. So just really quickly, you said you're a mechanic. Would you give me any advice if I came to you and I said, "Hey, man, I've got butt cancer." And I got to figure it out. Would you, as a mechanic, feel qualified to give me your opinions on my butt cancer?
No.
No. Why not?
Because I'm not a doctor.
Right. And so, as it is right now, biology, psychology, biomedical sciences, sociology, anthropology, all of these sciences, both what people like to call hard and soft sciences, right? Which I hate those terms, but it doesn't matter. But all these different fields of science all agree that you are born either gay or straight. You are born either trans or cis. That sex and gender are actually different things. And for you, and for people like you, by which I mean just common everyday folks, these usually aren't things you really have to deal with, right? Trans people are like 1-ish% of the population. Gay people are, I think, like 14-ish something percent of the population. Like, for
right.
average, everyday, most Americans, you don't care about it. You don't think about it. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't affect you in any way. And you're not a fucking biologist. You don't have to care, right? And for the same reason that dude, if you let me fix your car, you're fucking stupid. I don't know shit about it. I'm a biologist. I wouldn't do that. And so what you're giving me here is you don't see these differences, but they do exist. And you're taking, and forgive the word here, it sounds aggressive, but I'm really not trying to be aggressive with you. You're taking your ignorance of this and you're using it to make a judgment call on your cousin, who is somebody who loved you enough to tell you about who they are.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you 100%. And I'm not, and I am ignorant on the subject of that. I just think that people that have more left-leaning views aren't open to discussion these days. And every time that you talk to somebody that's more left-leaning, it just gets into a radical conversation. There's no common sense.
Can you understand why, though?
Why?
It's because, so like, think about the context of this conversation, right? We're talking about trans people, just as an example, right? We're talking about trans people, and we just spent the past 2 calls talking about whether or not they can go to the bathroom publicly, whether or not they can play in certain sports, whether or not they exist in the first place, if they should have to identify themselves to people and have totally different civil rights protections or no protections, right? We're talking about this with these people who just want to live. They just want to live their fucking lives. They just want to exist, and science backs them up. And the president, dude,
maybe so.
And Travis, the president of the United States spent millions and millions of dollars on advertisements attacking them and calling them perverts and freaks and unnatural and everything like that. And so, like, imagine you're a trans person. I hope you don't. But imagine you're a trans person or you're a left-leaning person who cares about trans people. And all you know is that your government is trying to delegitimize and dehumanize these people and treat them like something different. And it's driving up their depression rates, their suicide rates, all sorts of horrible shit. It's causing them immense physical and mental harm. And then somebody comes along and says, can we just talk both sides and all the blah, blah. Like, dude, you'd be pissed. you would feel pretty radical about it.
Yeah, true. But it seems like that stuff gets really put to the forefront. But it just seems like, because nobody talks about it, man. Nobody, like, it's not okay for a biological man to go in a woman's bathroom. I mean, if you want to have unisex bathrooms, have unisex.
Wait, hold on. That you can't just say that and then scoot past it like it's nothing. Okay, like there's a lot of things wrong with this. Like, first of all, there's no such thing as a biological man. If what you're trying to say is like somebody who was assigned male, then okay, sure. Like, but then okay, so are you saying like if a trans woman looks like me? I don't know if you've seen me on the camera, but like I have long hair, I have boobies and everything. Do you think if a trans woman looks like me that she should use the men's bathroom? Do you think she's safe in that situation?
I mean, that's a really hard. I mean, no, I would say no, but it just puts people in a very vulnerable spot. When you
do you think that a trans woman is not vulnerable in the bathroom? I think there's more bad.
No, I agree with that.
It puts the trans people in a vulnerable spot.
I agree with that, but I think there's more bad apples that screw it up for trans people. You know, I'm not against trans people.
People always say this, Travis, but I don't really see any evidence of that. I don't really see any evidence of trans people assaulting people in the bathroom. What I see is a lot of evidence that trans people get assaulted in the bathroom by other people.
Right.
And also, I want you to be clear on this, Travis. The group of people that's going to be most impacted if we change the law around this is going to be non-trans women. So if a woman has short hair, like a lesbian, like this has actually already happened.
So So
hold on real quick. I want to explain this to you.
I'm sorry. Good.
I just want to explain this to you. There have already been situations where a Black woman is in the bathroom changing her tampon, and because she has short hair and she presents masculine, because like lesbians sometimes dress a little bit masculine, then a male police officer comes into the bathroom to try to harass, basically, or like potentially arrest this woman in the bathroom. So like, even if you think that, okay, well, we shouldn't have trans women in the bathrooms, putting that in the law means that cis women are going to be the most affected. They're going to be harmed more than trans women will be.
Yeah, and I just don't think there should be laws that govern
Well, then when
that,
you say
a
biological male shouldn't be in the bathroom, what do you mean should? Because should typically implies that like we're doing something about it.
Yeah, I just don't. I guess it's just really fishy water. You know what I mean? It's just if you start.
I mean, it seems to me, Travis, that trans people for longer than the three of us together have been alive. I don't know how old you are, Travis, but I'm betting that between the three of us together, if you combined our ages, trans people have been effectively and safely using public bathrooms for longer than all of us combined have been alive. And it only became a political issue in 2016, 10 years ago, when North Carolina decided to try to crack down on this legally. There were not an epidemic of assaults. There's not an epidemic of voyeurism.
I agree with that. I just think that Trump has sometimes in politics, the only way to even get anything done is to
make up a fake problem.
To the forefront. It's not a fake problem.
There's never been a problem, though, Travis. What is the problem? If there are no assaults, if there's no voyeurism, if there's no harassment, if the only people who are being harmed in bathrooms realistically are trans people and not trans people harming other people, or even people pretending to be trans harming other people, then literally what is the problem? Please describe to me the problem.
Well, I'm not saying there's a problem. I'm not saying there's a problem. I'm just saying that I don't believe that there should be, I don't know what other laws on the book. I don't think there should be additional laws that protect trans people. Like, I don't agree with trans people in, like, women in men's sports. Like, let women play against women.
I feel like it's really hard.
That's exactly what we're advocating for.
It's really hard to address.
That's exactly what we're advocating for.
It's really hard to address any one issue, Travis, when you just jump to the next issue. So I want to understand, what is the harm in trans women using women's bathrooms?
Well, I mean, first off, it's a trans woman, so
that's not a harm.
It's a male.
Describe a harm.
I'm not saying it's a harm. I'm not saying it's a harm. I'm saying it's a male. It's a male using a female's bathroom.
It's a woman using a women's bathroom. It's a woman using a women's bathroom.
Yeah, and I understand that. I understand the argument about gender and stuff like that, and that's just what I don't agree with. But
if it's not hurting anybody, Travis, then what's the problem? Travis, if the trans woman isn't peeping, she's not peeping over the top, or she's not peeking under the bottom of the stalls. She's not bothering anybody. She's just in there fixing up her makeup. What is the problem that makes you feel like this should not be happening?
Well, I mean, first off, I just don't think it's right. Trans people have.
I don't care, though. This is the thing, Travis.
I do care,
Travis. I want you to understand this exists within a context, Travis. This exists within a context. All right. We've already had situations in this country where people have been like, I don't like that this other group of people is around me, and I don't want them to be there. And then we've had entire laws and social stigmas surrounding this. It's called the right to comfort. The idea that someone's right to be comfortable, as in they feel better, is more important than someone else's right to public spaces. That's why we had racially segregated bathrooms, because white women didn't want black women to be near them.
Mm-hmm. But
that's what you're advocating for, though. Is segregation for trans people.
Well, no. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not advocating for it. I just don't think it's right that if somebody wants to be gay or somebody wants to be trans or whatever.
It's not about want, but okay.
Okay, well, that's just a difference of opinion. But if
I'm trans, I'm telling you, it's not a matter of want.
That's fine. Okay, all right, that's fine.
It's not a difference of opinion; it's a difference in fact. You don't get to disagree with the facts. Also, sorry, Forrest. I know I'm kind of steamrolling this one.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no. I mean, I just don't. I mean, you're born either a male or a female. You know, I don't see how. You know, and then we try to protect trans people, and then, you know, it just gets really combobulated with, trying to, have protections for trans people. I've got a trans cousin that is full blown. And
do you want her to be in a situation where she is possibly going to be assaulted by a man? Do you think that you want that to happen for her? I assume not. I'm assuming you're a good person, right? So, but you can understand that trans women who use men's bathrooms are assaulted for doing that. The thing that you think they should be doing, they are harmed when they do that. We have like literally, it happened in a high school. Actually, I think it was that the trans girl was using the boys' bathroom, which is the one that you think she should be using. Yeah, that's what happened. She was a student in Minnesota, and her jaw got broken because a boy punched her for being in the bathroom that you think she should be in.
But what about the family that got hurt because he transitioned, and now the kids
can you imagine
really don't have.
Can you imagine being a person who is like, I am conflicted between this truth about me versus my family?
Sure.
Do you think that was an easy decision for her to make?
No, I don't think it was an easy decision, and I applaud her for doing that.
Right, because she wouldn't have chosen that, right?
Well, I do believe that she chose to do that, but that's just the difference of opinion between, you and I get that. I'm not, against them per se. I'm just saying that, man, it's. I didn't mean to call you man, but on purpose or anything. I just think that, when you try to talk to them about it, it gets radical. It's not a reasonable conversation.
You keep saying that. Dude, I do not know what you
Travis,
mean.
You keep what's so frustrating about this, Travis, is that you keep Lux keeps asking you, like, what is the actual harm being caused to you? A minute ago, you talked about your cousin, coming out as trans and transitioning, and that causes harm to your family and all these things. We keep asking you, what is this harm? What's happening?
It's not.
We talk about the bathrooms.
It's not harm, but it's completely disconstructed the family, the mother and the kids.
Why?
The kids are confused. They don't have a dad.
Why is it confusing when it could just be new information? Why is it deconstructing your family when you can just get used to somebody telling you who they really are? What if this person was gay and they came out of the closet as gay?
True.
Well, I'm just saying, how do you tell a 6-year-old that I'm trans? And I've seen it from my own eyes.
Easy. I can do it for you right now. I can do it for you right now. Watch. It's really as easy. I'm trans. That's how you do it. And when the 6-year-old says, what does that mean? You say, well, for a long time, a lot of people thought that I was a boy, but it turns out I'm actually not. Crazy, right? And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I used to think I was a boy, but now I think I'm a girl, or now I know I'm a girl. Like, you can dumb it down as much as you want to for a child. I was unhappy as a boy, but I'm happy as a girl. Children understand.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that. I understand that. But I've seen in real time the harm is caused to the kids. And that bothers me.
Like what?
I think that, honestly, Forrest, I think that this is just an anti-divorce position. Well, I think that what this is coming down is the idea that, like, divorce is the worst thing that can happen to a child.
Right. What's so frustrating, dude, is that, like...
Yeah, go ahead.
How did it harm the kids? Aside from the divorce,
they don't have. The dad. Hold on. The dad, basically, in the middle, they had 3 kids, and he transitioned. When they were 10 on average or whatever. Okay, or 8 or 6. They got 3 of them, dude, the kids went through a terrible, just a really just dark place, man. And it's very hard, especially.
That's also very unspecific, Travis. You keep using very vague language that doesn't help us understand what the problem is.
What did this dark place look like, and why were they in this dark place? Because I'm willing to bet the dark place that they were in and the reason they were there is because other family members were bigoted about it and making a big deal about it, and the kids were very confused because it wasn't explained to them. It wasn't explained to them properly, and a bunch of people talked about how awful it was and how weird it was and how it just isn't right and all the other. And these kids are upset that people are talking about their parent that way.
Please explain then, Travis. What happened? How was this family harmed? What do you mean by a dark place? What do you mean by radical? Please be specific.
I'm trying to be specific. I'm not in a podcast like y'all, like sitting down.
I know. I have a public speaking advantage over you. It's fine. I'm trying to help you get to the target point of the question that you're trying to make. I want to try to help you make your point.
And I'm not trying to use too much airtime, but I'm just saying that he had rights to his kids. Okay, and he still had rights to his kids, so he got to see his kids, and he kind of held. He did, not other people in the family. He did. He transitioned in front of them without him telling them the right things, and that disturbs me because even to this day, he's still not communicating to the children the way that you described, which is a lot easier. And then whenever you you know what I mean?
Oh
like the way you
so you have this issue.
That sounds great.
So you have this issue where your cousin transitioned and didn't explain to her children to your satisfaction what she was doing and why.
Well, I've just seen I've seen the mental state that is taken on the kids.
I don't think you have. I think that if these kids are upset and if these kids are going through a hard time, it probably has a lot more to do. It has a lot more to do with the situation that they're living in the country around them, where trans people are being vilified, demonized, dehumanized, painted out to be pedophiles and perverts and freaks, and then they see their parent here and they apply that. I think that's probably the bigger problem. And I'm very confident in that assumption because through this entire call, we talked about trans people in the bathroom for a long time, and every time Lux asked you what the actual problem was, you said, I just don't think it's right. Like that's meaningful in any way, or you have a reason to back that up. At the very beginning of the call, we agreed that science disagrees with you and you don't have a valid opinion in this area. And you say, but you still hold this position that it's just common sense. It's just easy to figure out, just common sense. All of that, everything you've talked about.
It's very
everything you've talked about, Travis. It's not.
I'm not.
Travis, everything you've talked about, what I need you to hear me here, everything you were talking about here is the same kind of rhetoric as when we were talking about segregation a minute ago, and you were like, no, obviously that's wrong. And when Lux was talking about, somebody doesn't want a black woman on the elevator, it's the same rhetoric.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just disagree. I mean, I've seen it in real time how it's kind of harmed the kids, and I don't hold a grudge either way. Can
I ask you, Travis, a clarifying question around that?
Sure.
I want to know if do you know what your cousin's wife's reaction was?
Yes.
What was it? Can I ask that? Is that okay?
I mean, yeah, she was pissed.
Okay, do you think that maybe the conflict between the parents might have been the thing that made that hard for the children? Do you think that might have been a factor and not the fact that one of them was trans?
Well, I think both. Absolutely.
Okay, so again, Forrest brought up something earlier that I don't think you really addressed, but people also come out as gay after they've had children and they've been married for 20 years. So is being gay a problem? I think that you said earlier that people aren't born gay, so maybe you also think that is a choice, that they're inflicting that on their family because they want to?
No, I don't think they're inflicting it on their family. I just think they're choosing to be that way, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like, be whoever you want to be.
But no. Those two, no. Those are mutually exclusive statements. If they choose to be gay, then they are choosing to harm their families by causing a divorce when they could have not done that.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I
Right.
get what you're saying. I understand completely what you're saying, and I'm not trying. Look, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not super smart in the area. I've just kind of witnessed it firsthand, and I've seen that when you try to be reasonable with them, it's very hard. It's very hard for the family. It's very even when.
Do you understand why? With this
No.
conversation, Travis, with the last 25 minutes of us talking, and you talking about how this person coming out as trans, this person, you're fine. You're for the past 25 minutes, we're talking about just your cousin as an example here. She comes out as trans. She's living her truth, telling the world who she is, discovering and exploring her gender, which is probably hard in Mississippi, right? Probably not a comfortable place to do that in politically anyway. Has to go through a difficult time with her spouse now. Has to go through a confusing time with her kids now. We have these conversations like we're having now about bathrooms and sports and harm and all these things. The president is saying horrible, hateful things. Congress is saying horrible, hateful things. Their preachers saying horrible, hateful things all the time. And then you, as a family member, come along and say, I just don't think it right. I think you chose to do this and you're hurting your kids because of it. Do you understand why that might be kind of a shitty thing to say and they might be a little radical about their response?
No, I'm not saying that he's hurting his kids. I'm just saying that I've seen what they've had to go through, seeing that. And that if he wanted to do that,
seeing a person live normally.
Do what?
When you keep saying they had to see that, you're saying they had to see a person living like a person. She didn't hurt anybody. She just accepted her gender. She transitioned on her own. She didn't fucking make the kids trans. She just transitioned on her own. When you say they had to see that, you're saying just seeing a person. That's the same thing as a minute ago. We keep saying it over and over. If this parent had come out as gay, and you say, well, they had to see that. How does that sound, dude?
No, it sounds bad, but I'm saying
because it is.
It doesn't. It's not as easy as you're making it sound. Like, oh,
it is.
He just transitioned. No, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. I've seen it firsthand. It's. I know I'm saying harm because that's the only word I can come up with, but I've seen how he wasn't living. It just did. Oh, I'm just going to transgender. I'm just going to transition. No, he put the kids through hell. He put
Travis.
He went through this dark
what
time.
Hell?
Travis,
Like,
Travis,
what the hell?
this is
hell?
Travis. This is a medical. Hold on, Travis. This is a medical condition. It would be like if your cousin had like major depressive disorder, right? And it's like the process, like the part of your life where you're super in your depression is harmful to the people around you, mostly to yourself, but it can be harmful to the people around you. And then the process of finding the right kind of therapy or the right kind of medicine, sometimes that can make you worse. So in that, like, it's another situation where a medical condition impacts families. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean that depression is immoral or that it was a choice to be depressed.
Or that treating it as immoral.
Yeah, like gender dysphoria and is the medical condition that we call trans identity. Like trans is the how you identify, and gender dysphoria is the medical diagnosis. That's, you have to qualify under certain criteria in order to start treatment and to go, I'm assuming that your cousin's had surgeries. You've implied that multiple times. So medical difficulties can be trials and tribulations for families. That doesn't mean that the person experiencing the medical condition is like wrong or has harmed their family because they are just rolling with the punches and doing their best to treat the condition.
Sure. I somewhat agree with that. I think that if they want to do that, that's fine. But can't you do it like in my personal, I can't speak for anybody else, but like my personal situation, like, dude, like you put your family kind of through your transition, okay, and that's what you wanted to do. Why don't you go do that and then come back as a woman and be like,
do you
hey,
think,
do you have any
do you
idea
think
how
that she
long
should
that takes?
also wait to treat her major depressive disorder? Like that she should continue to suffer with feelings of unworthiness and suicidality until her children all graduate high school? Like that's the equivalent situation that we're talking about here.
Why couldn't he think about that before he had the kids, before he put the family through
because
this transition?
It took her time because it took her time to figure out who she was.
Yeah, how do you know that she knew?
Like Lux said a minute ago, there are plenty of cases of people who come out as gay way after they've been married for 20 years and had a bunch of children. They took time to come to terms with it because they were living in a situation where it was strongly discouraged, where it was vilified. I'm guessing your family is probably Christian. You live in Missouri. So, like, probably has a religious issue there. Like, there's a ton of reasons why she might take more time to come to terms with this and accept it. And it was probably a really fucking hard decision, a really difficult thing for her to come to realize. It was probably earth-shattering for her. It was probably terrifying for her. She's probably dealing with a lot of stress because of it. And instead of supporting her, you are claiming that she should have just left her family for months or years and then come back suddenly as a totally different person and just said, hey, surprise, kids, this is me now. And that would have been less traumatizing. Like, get real, dude.
Well,
or just continue to suffer really until her kids all turn 18, I guess.
Well, no, I think he was traumatizing the kids before he transitioned. That's the thing. He was going through this really hard time, which I'm not downplaying at all. I'm not trying to disrespect trans people or anything like that, but he was putting the family in lying, about who he was, because he says he's always been a woman.
She wasn't lying.
Like
she wasn't lying. She was fucking hiding from this exact reaction, dude.
Yeah, how do you know that she wasn't just how do you know that she wasn't doing what people like conservatives and Republicans think, that if people think they might be trans, they should just lean harder into their assigned gender? So in this situation, like maybe she knew when she was much younger, but she was like, no, I can't be that. It's against my religion. My parents will disown me. I'll never have a normal life. And she was like, I'm just going to compartmentalize that and be a man, as they say. And then it just at a certain point becomes unbearable anymore. That's the thing. It's like, y'all don't understand that it's really fucking hard.
Understand. I get that.
No, you don't. No, Travis.
I don't think you do.
And I'm not trying to denigrate you by saying that. It's a fundamentally different experience of the world. And I can tell you from personal experience that most of us go through a phase where we're like, let's try literally everything else. Let's do literally everything else before even considering transition, right? And it sounds like maybe your cousin is just kind of a shit person. Like, I don't know them. But if you're like, that their family was tumultuous beforehand, that's not a good representative example of transition on the whole being bad for people or bad for families or bad for children.
Welcome. Yeah, I guess I'm not saying it's bad for children. I guess I just kind of saw how I would have rather seen. Not speaking for anybody else. Just my opinion is he's been struggling with it for a long time, and to this day I haven't disowned him or anything like that. But I
would be shocked if she talks to you much, though.
No, he doesn't, because
you are not able to do the very basic respect of using the correct pronouns.
I was about to say, maybe it has something to do with the fact that you keep calling her a he this entire fucking time, dude.
Yeah. You've slipped up and said she and then corrected yourself to say he, which is hilarious, by the way.
He was a cowboy toting AR-15 toting truck freaking, and that was his persona. And he admitted that. He's like, yeah, man, that's what I did.
And maybe she still likes those things, or maybe they were just a cover. At the end of the day, people change, dude. And when you treat somebody who's going through a really stressful time like you are treating your cousin, it's no surprise that she doesn't talk to you that much. Like, fuck, man. And the fact that you're, especially you keep going back to this one example. We were talking about bathrooms for a long time, and you were using this as your example over and over.
No,
you were using this as your example over and over for why you just don't think that it's right. Like, it's fuck, man. This is just so fucking rude.
Well, that's how normal people think, man.
I
mean, people don't. Well, no, I'm not against any trans. I'm not against my cousin. He doesn't talk to me.
Sounds like you are.
It's not that I'm not willing to.
I wouldn't talk to you either if I was her. The way that you're talking about trans people in general sucks.
Maybe you don't know how you sound, Travis. So I'm trying to. I want to help you. I'm trying to help you with this. You keep saying you're not against it, you don't dislike it or anything, but you continue saying things in opposition to it.
Well, if she was open to talking to me, I would have no problem talking. She just hasn't came to talk.
She just has to sit down and have a serious conversation where she explains her existence to you and justifies who she is as a person to your satisfaction so that you can decide whether she has value. Yeah, she should totally just do that, dude. She's unreasonable for not doing that.
No, every human being has value. Whether you're gay, straight, trans, Christian, male, it doesn't matter. Every person, I believe, is created in the image of God, no matter how you are. I just think that, I don't think that, I just don't think men should be going in women's bathrooms. It's just common sense, man. Like,
neither do we, Travis. Trans women aren't men.
Okay, so how do you protect that? I mean, how do you protect both sides?
Let me ask you the same question. How do you stop somebody who's sexually predatory, which is what your concern is about, right, from going into the bathroom? How do you stop it?
Well, mostly. I mean, that's mostly, yeah, sexually predatory.
Right. So how do you prevent it?
I don't know, man. I don't have an answer. I mean, because if you there's no really way to protect it, I guess, unless you got, you can't say there's just a transgender bathroom.
So you don't have an issue. So you don't have a solution for this, but you expect trans people to bear the burden of this, the problem that they didn't create, even though trans people are 4 times more likely to be sexually assaulted and violently assaulted than cis people are. So trans men and trans women, 4 times more likely to be the victims of this sexual predation.
So where do you draw the line, though? Where can you have common ground where it's like, okay,
how about you just let people pee, bro? And if they break the law in there, then do something about it.
Okay. Well, I mean that's kind of how it is now. Is people do what they want to do. I mean,
that's actually not that's not true, Travis. I left Kansas. I uprooted my entire life, Travis. I uprooted my entire life to move away from Kansas, where I was born, because they passed a bathroom bill, and they've now passed another one, and they're passing one in Idaho that would have fucking 5 years of jail time attached to it. So you can't just, like, maybe you're speaking from a place of ignorance on that, but it is not the case that it's like people just do whatever they want to do and use whichever bathroom they feel safest in. It's illegal in many states now for a trans person to use the bathroom of the people that they look like.
I'm asking you, how many states is it?
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know.
Way too fucking many. Like, we've got Idaho, there's Kansas, there's Missouri, there's Texas, fucking, I don't know, man. I used to cover this news and talk about it every day, and I try not to anymore because it sucks to be constantly exposed to the fact that your minority group that represents less than 2% of the population of America is under attack in basically every red state, and even in blue states, they try to pass these. Like, there's in Washington state right now, which of course you think Washington, oh, that's a fucking liberal bastion, but billionaires and millionaires are supporting legislation. They're trying to force through legislation that would limit trans people's rights and the ability to exist in public. So Like, you may believe that it should be laissez-faire, let people do whatever as long as they're not like harming anyone, but that's not what a lot of other Republicans think.
Well, ability to exist. I mean, what do you mean by that?
Like, so you know that if you have to, like for example, as a student in high school, you're legally required to be at school. Otherwise, you'll get like truancy. And so if you're required to be somewhere for 8 hours a day and you can't safely use the bathroom, because again, it was a high schooler in Minnesota who got punched in the face for using the boys' bathroom, which is the one that you think she should be using. You can't functionally go anywhere outside your house if you are not able to use a bathroom without risking being assaulted.
I got you.
Right.
Right on. I mean, I get that. I mean, y'all got a lot of good points. I'm not, you know, I think it just disgusts me that we just, I don't know, just can't find common ground, you know? And the only reason I said I applauded Trump earlier was because he brings things to the forefront that other people talk about. They talk about it for years and years and years, but nothing ever gets done. And
would you rather bad, harmful, un-American things be getting done, or would you rather that politics kind of stagnates and things don't happen very fast? What's a better situation?
I don't think either of them are good.
Right, but you keep saying he's getting things done, and at the beginning of this call, I asked you, what's something that he's done? What's a good policy that you support? And you didn't give me one. You said, he just does stuff, and fuck trans people.
Well, hold on. Give me a minute. I just saw your podcast on my way out of work. So, I mean, you know, I called because the Steve guy was, you know, you were going off on a Steve guy, and I was like, oh, I'll probably be in the queue forever. I've never even called a podcast before, so, you know, I wasn't, you kind of just caught me off guard. But,
yeah,
I mean, I agree with...
Bro, you chose to call in, and you're saying that we need to find common ground when the people we're asking to find common ground with are literally saying that trans people are fucking monsters that shouldn't exist. So, like, there is no common ground with shit like that. If there was a political party today... If there was a political party today that wanted to outlaw Christianity and said anyone who practices Christianity is a freak and a pervert and needs to be barred from public life and we should have separate spaces for them and all that, you would not be saying we should find common ground. You would just say that's fucking stupid and evil. We should not allow that ahead. And if somebody was plowing through legislation on that, you wouldn't say, well, they're getting things done. You're just giving bullshit excuses for an evil fucking party that is doing harm to real people and is violating the Constitution, doing seriously anti-American shit.
See, but that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Radical. You're being very, very extreme on the things that you're saying, and that's
Trump
what divides
is being
people,
extreme,
man.
Travis. Trump
No,
is
he's not,
dividing
man.
people.
He's really...
Trump is being Travis. Just to be clear, Trump is violating the Constitution. Trump is being anti-American. Trump is going against everything this country has ever stood for. How? He's violating the 5th and the 14th Amendments with ICE as a great example, by stripping people of their right to due process and equal protection under the law. That is violating the Constitution. He's violating the Emoluments Clause because he's made billions of dollars off of a crypto coin scam that he's been pushing. He is
constant insider trading. Blatantly illegal.
He also said on True Social during the last election that the Constitution should be suspended in his favor, and he said on camera during this administration that he doesn't even know if it should apply to him. So if you're talking about people who are dividing people, maybe we should be talking about the billionaire pedophile who is out here violating the country's founding documents and hurting millions of people because they're not straight and cis and white. That's divisive. That's radical. That's extreme.
Come on. No, come on, man. That's what you're saying is radical and extreme and divisive.
Dude, regardless,
tell me where it's wrong.
Trump has all of the symptoms of fucking stage 4 dementia. He's shit his pants on public television like more than one time. And this is the guy that you're like, yeah, President Diaper, that's my boy. You know, my president can't get a sentence put together right because he literally has dementia and his brain is leaking out of his ears. That's the guy I like and want to listen to.
No,
We're super
no.
off topic though now, Travis, and we've got other callers we have to get to before the end of the show. I know it was your first time calling. Right. Thank you for chatting with us for a bit. And you're welcome to call. Listen, I'm on here basically every week on Thursdays. So if you get out of work next week and you want to call back and try to go over some other of these topics, we'd be happy to talk to you about Trump a little bit more detail.
Hey,
by the way,
no worries. Y'all have a good night.
Courts have ruled over 4,400 times that ICE has illegally jailed people, including over 100 U.S. citizens, and they have lost over 3,000 immigrants. And also the Supreme Court has ruled that they're allowed to detain people based on their skin color. If you don't think that shit's divisive and radical, you're not paying the fuck attention. That is the evil shit. No. We are being appropriately angry about it.
I think you're fear-mongering, man, and you're
you can literally look up. You can look up anything I just said and fact check it. The ACLU and Amnesty International, insider whistleblowers, and U.S. citizens, including veterans who have been unlawfully detained by ICE and sent to ICE detention centers, have described torturous conditions, rooms flooded with urine and feces, being fed moldy, rotten food if they get food at all.
That happened under the Democrats' administration, too.
No, it fucking hasn't, Travis. And even if it had, you cannot deny that it is far worse now. That is the radical shit that we are appropriately angry about. And especially when you have Donald Trump saying that immigrants, and this is a quote from him, immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. That's Nazi shit, dude. And that's why Nazis vote with him. So if you think we're being radical for explaining the facts to you, you need to just get better versed on the facts, because then you'll be as pissed off as I
am. All right, man. Y'all have a good night.
Take care, Travis. I'm not going to fucking put up with that shit at the end of all. We were so fucking nice to Travis for 45 fucking minutes. And to his credit, he didn't scream, curse, call slurs, anything like that. But that doesn't mean what he was saying wasn't fucking gross. And after 45 minutes of being really, I think, too nice to that whole thing, you guys are just fear-mongering. Meanwhile, we have thousands of people languishing away in concentration camps.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's like, do you think I would have supported Obama and Biden deporting people? Do you think that I wasn't critiquing Biden for his deportations either?
Obama deported more people than Trump has. And he did it unconstitutionally for a minute, and he was called out for it, and he fucking stopped mostly. He still did shit that I disagreed with, and I still protested. I still am grumpy about it. Biden kept kids in fucking cages. He kept the child separation policy that Trump did. I hated that shit. I'm still mad about that shit. All of them suck. Trump is worse. Undeniably worse on all of these things. Absolutely. Anyway, we've got 3 calls left. We're going to try to get through before 8 o'clock. So we got about a little less than an hour. And we also wanted to read some super chats today as a special show because it is Lux's birthday. So we're going to try to get through these calls in around 20 minutes or so a piece. We'll see if that happens. Who knows? We might be here all night. Yeah. Do you have one in particular that you like more than the other 2?
I mean, it kind of seems like 2 of them are talking about kind of like the same subject. I don't mind going over it. I don't mind going over it twice. Yeah, we could probably do just in order as they are.
Okay, cool. So let's start with on number 18. I want to do a science lesson. On number so we're going to start with Toby. Who's calling in to talk more about trans people in the bathrooms. Boy, don't you know, we love it. Toby, you're on the line with Forrest and Lux. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Hey, your mic is really fucking loud.
Yeah, I need you to move the microphone like a couple inches away from your face.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Patrick just bitched out and hung up, who said that trans people are living a lie. I was going to explain fucking basic science to Patrick. Well, Toby, looks like you got some extra time. Toby, we've got, let's see here. How many people do we have watching right now? We've got, looks like about 1,800 people watching you right now. Would you prefer that they refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
I do not care. I usually don't call into these things, but I wanted to call in today because I thought the way that you handled that conversation with Travis was disgusting. That man, sat there that entire debate, and you sat there that entire debate talking about what harm does trans people cause, and he gave you an exact example from his family, and you hand waved it away. You sat there that entire debate.
I actually didn't.
Moreover,
I actually acknowledged that it can be really hard for families I don't really need you to castigate me. You're not my dad. I don't really need this moral lecture. Do you want to get into the meat of the issue? Do you want to describe a harm? Or
just want to be clear, we didn't hand wave away. We explained how his language and the way that he was addressing it. We explained how the way he was handling it and the way he was talking about his cousin, including consistently misgendering her, was fucking gross and not appropriate at all. And how he should have been supportive and tried to help his family member instead of just coming on the internet and bitching about her.
The person that tore up their marriage. You should have been supportive of that person.
Who says that's what tore up their marriage?
It seems like the wife was being aggressive.
Occam's razor, all right?
Can you slow down, Toby? You're like going a mile a minute. I just need you to slow down a little bit because it'll be way easier to have a conversation.
I'm angry about it because you sat there and you were like, oh, you looked down your noses at that guy, and he was way more nice. Yes. You talk about being way nice to him. He was way more nicer to you than you had any right to.
I don't need you to lecture me. You are not my dad. Would you like to have a conversation now, or are you just going to try to lecture me about how I did something wrong? Because I'm not interested.
Yeah, you cannot. Okay, fine, whatever. But you can't sit there and then take the moral high ground about how, we treated him so well, and we treated him better than any right we had to be.
I'm sorry, just real quick, Toby, real quick, Toby. Hey, Toby, this is my show. Were you here when we took our first caller? Because I yelled at that guy a lot.
No, I was not. I came across.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you don't have any idea. You don't have any idea because you've never called us before. We were pretty chill with that guy, and we disagreed with him, and we didn't relent in our disagreement because we are correct and he was incorrect. And I acknowledged that, yes, transition is hard for families, and I can acknowledge, like, yeah, maybe your cousin is just, like, not handling it well. I don't know if you heard me say that, but, like, yes, we acknowledged that, like, yeah, maybe your cousin is just a shitty person in general and didn't handle this well. That isn't representative of all trans people, and it doesn't mean that transition is bad for every family. And he also admitted that the cousin's wife was super pissed, was the way that he phrased it. So it does kind of seem like the wife's excuse me, Toby, excuse me. I actually was in the middle of my sentence. Thank you. So her animosity around that might have been one of the driving forces behind why it was a toxic transition and not like that's unfortunate, but I'm gonna support you and we're gonna reasonably co-parent these children even if we do need to get a divorce, right? The person's reaction, as well as maybe the coming out not being handled well, could have been both factors in that. And we acknowledged that maybe the cousin didn't handle it perfectly. Again, I do not need you to lecture me on how to carry my show. This is our show. We have these conversations. I am here every week, and I don't need you to lecture me. Would you like to have a conversation about the actual issues and not go to bat for someone else? Cool. What is your question?
I'm very upset with the way that you handled it. Okay.
Okay.
My question
thank you.
You earlier into the face. Okay. Can I make one more point on that? One more, and then I'll get to.
Toby. I don't care about your opinion on the previous call. I just want to have a conversation with you now about the issues.
Okay. Fine. And not about the previous call, but something you just said right now in regards to, while she should have handled it better. She should have handled the transition better. Why should she?
I want to talk about trans bathrooms. You wanted to, Toby, you wanted to call about trans bathrooms. I want to talk about trans bathrooms. What do you want to say about trans bathrooms?
Not here to do marriage counseling for some other fucking people, bro.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's going on with the bathroom? Who's pooping where, and why does it matter to you?
Fine. You know, and this was originally what the fact of you sat there again the entire debate. Oh, you know, you were like, you hand waved every issue about men going into women's bathroom, trans men going into, or trans women or whatever, going into women's bathrooms. But the moment that it became convenient, you brought up the example. The moment it became convenient, you brought up the example of the Minnesota person who got their jaw broken. All right.
Yeah, and that's literally only one example. I could have told you about another teenager who was killed.
And I can bring up
there are tons of examples
about
of that. Yeah.
Trans people going into women's bathrooms and creeping on women, or worse.
No, you can't.
Name one.
I can bring up
name one.
Name one.
Literally name one.
What do you mean, though? I can look it up right now. I can look. You sit there and you not ask for a single source last time, but now you're making me bring up a ton of other stuff. I can bring up a ton of
I can tell you. I can give you the sources from my claim.
Lux gave you a specific example, and you said, I know tons of other examples. So name one, because I don't think you actually do. And also, I addressed the thing that you were describing here in one of the other calls. I already answered this question.
I just think it's a double standard. No, it's
standard.
Not. I'm going to pull up some stuff right
the
now.
standard is actually quite single.
When you won't take
here's
one
the standard,
example,
Toby.
you won't take example.
Tony, here's the standard. My standard is quite simple. Women should use the women's bathroom, and men should use the men's bathroom, and then there should also probably be a unisex bathroom for anybody who wants to use that too.
And then you sit back and smugly chuckle and say, like, trans women aren't men, even though they're biologically
They're
male.
not. No, they're not.
Yes,
Yes, they are biologically male, not men. Sorry, I thought you were saying
two
men.
different
Pardon
things,
me. But also,
okay,
sex
whatever.
and gender are different things, so that doesn't matter.
Okay, but you know what? It's designed for women with natural, bodily fluids to go to one bathroom and men's bodily fluids to go into another bathroom. That's the way it's set up.
What's the chemical? Can you explain the chemical differences? Can you explain the chemical difference between woman pee and man pee?
I can explain to you. One comes out of a uterus and the other one comes out of a fucking bladder. I don't care. Okay, whatever.
That's very funny, Toby. Toby, that's so funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
It doesn't come out of the vagina.
I went to STEM instead of biology. God forbid. All right, look.
Toby,
biology is STEM, you dumb fuck. Oh my God. That's so
comes
funny.
out of the vagina. You fucking idiot,
That's
dude.
so
You're going to call it
funny.
and chastise us and then say piss comes out of the vagina?
Wow.
You lunatic.
Baby, okay, I'm sorry I'm not 100% educated on the issues. Again, I called up here
You're
because
0% educated on these issues.
Right?
You literally don't know the difference between sex and gender, and you think pee is stored in the fucking uterus.
You know what? I am educated on history, and the fact is that for literally 10,000 years throughout human history and civilization, there has not been one society, not one, that has had wide-scale trans, acceptance on this level. It is a recent phenomenon.
It's literally a legally observed category in India now.
Yeah, there are plenty of examples of societies that do have trans acceptance across thousands of years.
Multiple
and they are well
Native
documented,
American
Toby.
societies, the ancient Scythians, the ancient Greeks. I could literally go on.
There was literally a trans Roman emperor. It sounds like your understanding of history is as good as your understanding of biology.
Yes, but was it accepted by society? Was it widely accepted by society? Because I know you're talking about Elagabalus.
Hey, there is a third. Hey, guess what, Toby? Toby. I know you're crashing out. In India now, there is a legally observed designation for a third sex right now, and it's been that way for a while. So yes, there is plenty of evidence of it being culturally acceptable. I'm not done talking. The Native Americans also had a culturally accepted third gender space. They call it two-spirit as a kind of umbrella term because each individual nation had different terms for it. But yeah, throughout human history, actually this thing that we're doing right now, where we think trans people are bad and fucked up and stuff, that's brand new. As of literally like 100 years ago when the Nazis decided to start going after us and destroying all of the literature studying us. Sorry,
it was literally a fucking
your ideology is the brand new one that is not congruent with human history. Sorry, you're the wrong one here.
Okay. So you're going to bring up these like niche examples, but then we're going to ignore the fact throughout again every other civilization. Yes, niche examples.
You're just making shit up, Toby. You're making shit up.
No, I am not making shit up because I can tell you
Hey Toby. In Berlin, in the Weimar Republic, before the rise of Nazi Germany, you would go to the doctor and get a slip that would be like, hey, I have permission to cross-dress because I'm transgender. It was legally recognized because cross-dressing was illegal because they didn't like spies and like spying was much easier back then.
Native American civilizations and
that, by the way, you're brushing aside Native American civilizations, but that's literally like several hundred different nations, several hundred different sovereign nations of the Native Americans.
I'm also, Toby, right now, I just put a link in the chat to an interactive map from fucking PBS that you can explore dozens of cultures that are gender diverse across time and space all over the world that have more than two genders or trans people or all this.
trans ideology that you guys, want to promote.
Yes, yeah, totally. Okay. No, you're right. Totally it was the trans ideology that was around
thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years before you were around. All these people had the same woke ideology.
Don't try to equivocate.
So hey, Toby, I want to tell you something really quick. I want to tell you something really quick. I want to tell you something really fast. So Toby, transgender medicine, as in giving, like the current medical thing that we do where we give people estrogen and testosterone, we've been doing that for longer than we've been doing literally heart surgery. Hormones for trans people is older than heart surgery. And in ancient, hold on, Toby, I'm not done. Hold on, Toby, I'm not done.
Okay.
And thousands of years ago, the Scythians would cut off their testicles and drink horse piss because the pregnant horses had estrogen in their urine and they would grow boobs. And so thousands of years ago, we were finding ways to do hormonal transition. And now we have it codified, and it's been codified since before we started doing heart surgery.
I'm sure it wasn't, I'm sure that the Sumerians were walking around, identifying with pronouns. I'm 100% sure of that. That's totally realistic.
Yes, they were, you fucking doofus. Pronouns exist in lots of languages.
Yes, I'm sure that they were, totally enlightened and trans-pilled on this issue.
The thing is, Toby, if you had good evidence against my position, I would listen to it, but you won't listen to my evidence because you have an entrenched ideology.
Facts don't care about your feelings, Toby.
My ideology is literally that humanity, for almost the vast, has not experienced this trans. Okay, if you can bring up these religious examples,
you are wrong.
That's your ideology.
Identifying as male and female.
Toby, that is your ideology. That's not actual facts. What training do you have in this area? I'm dying to know. You said you studied STEM. What is your training? Is it in anthropology and biology?
I'm a machinist by trade.
A machinist. So you, just really quickly, you, Toby, as a machinist, you think that you understand this issue better than actual anthropologists who actually study other cultures and know the difference in this stuff.
Where do you study?
Actually, really quickly, Toby, just so you know, I'm actually a biologist. My first master's was in anthropology, studying biological anthropology, the study of humans. My second master's is in biomedical sciences, studying human anatomy and paleontology. And I'm currently a PhD student studying biochemistry and molecular biology. And let me tell you, bro, sex and gender are fucking different things, and biology agrees across the board. Yeah, so I'm telling you this not to flex on you. I'm telling you this so you understand that as a biologist, I can tell you for fucking sure that it is across the board well understood in biology, anthropology, sociology, psychology, biomedical sciences, you name it, that sex and gender are different things. They're not necessarily congruent, and this has been the case for the entirety of human history. So you're just fucking wrong.
No, I'm not wrong, because the fact of the matter is
you are wrong.
That,
I know that you as a machinist might not understand this. The person who thinks that pee comes out of the uterus and the vagina might not get this, but just so you know, basic introductory biology textbooks, actual freshman level biology textbooks explain this difference.
You won't actually
I want to be clear, Toby, that I respect blue-collar workers, but I don't respect when blue-collar workers assert over biologists, like a literal fucking biologist right in front of you, that you know better.
I'm just saying that the collective human experience knows better.
You're objectively wrong.
On the human experience, you are very wrong. As someone with training in anthropology who actually has studied the history of humanity and human civilization, I can tell you, you are fucking wrong. You are using a very, very modern ideology to make a blanket sweeping statement about hundreds of thousands of years worth of humans, and you are fucking wrong about it. You are preaching your feelings, not facts.
Because again, I'm 100% confident that this is something that has not just come about in the last 200 years, let's say, and this is not a relatively new thing. I'm sure that the medieval peasants were sitting there talking about gender identity and expression. I just think that maybe we are.
You literally have no idea what you're talking about. There have actually been studies into what you're suggesting, and you're fucking wrong. I can explain it if you like, but I don't think you care, because I think you care more about your feelings than you do about actual science.
Where are we at? Where are we at on the time?
We've been here for about 12
15
minutes.
miserable minutes.
15 miserable, indeed. Again, I admit, I came on here mostly just because I thought the way that you handled that last caller was very, very, just wrong. Just the way that you treated him was.
Make sure to do it better whenever you start your own call-in show, Toby.
Can I just ask you, Toby, how old are you?
Okay, me? 21.
Yeah. Okay, I'm 32. I don't need you to fucking lecture me on how to conduct myself in my job. So if you don't have any actual substantive facts, and if you're not going to be receptive to two people who actually know the facts, then we don't need to continue the call.
Why respectful when you weren't respectful to the other guy? Why?
Is your name Steve or Travis or whatever the fuck, whoever it was? Like, is that who you are? You're going to bat for some other dude? I don't care.
You've literally been here fucking screaming about how you don't believe in science, and you're going to tell us that we were disrespectful to this other guy because we told him he was kind of a shithead for saying that, like, all these trans people are, like, hurting their families and shit?
You've been hysterical since the moment we picked up the call. You have been hysterical the moment we picked up the call.
They should take responsibility for whenever they make a decision that will affect their entire family. Their children who grew up with a father and now have to, grow up with a mother, a second mother.
Oh, heaven forbid they have two parents.
Yes, heaven forbid.
Brag about having two parents. My goodness.
Yes. Yes, it doesn't completely fuck up their perception about, reality and leads to lingering trust.
Actually, if anything, Toby, it makes their perception of reality better because it means that they might be exposed to actual biological science instead of just brain dead opinions like the ones that you've been spewing here.
Okay, sure. Because, you talk about, all these ancient folk wisdoms and stuff like that. But when I put out, folk wisdoms, I would say, apparently I'm, anti, somehow.
You haven't put out any folk wisdoms. You have just said your assertions of what you think ancient civilizations might have been like as a machinist who thinks pee is stored in the uterus.
I'm so glad that you are so mad that you took that line from me because I've been sitting on it.
I'm losing my shit. I
just want to be clear. Pee is stored in the uterus. Why do I give a shit about your opinion? You're 21, you're a machinist. Why do I care what you think?
I do want to be very clear, Toby. Did we pay you to call in?
No.
Okay, thank you. Because we get a lot of people who like to say that our callers are so fucking insanely dumb that we must be paying them. And that I have to just make sure everybody understands.
People think that folks like you are not a real person, but no, you're a real whole person actually calling us right now.
You're a whole-ass person, a 21-year-old machinist who thinks he knows more about biology and anthropology and biomedical sciences than the people who study it for a living and can just tell what people have been thinking and feeling for thousands of years. Totally. It's common sense. It's common sense, y'all. Please, thank you for saying we did not pay you.
Okay, you're welcome, bro, or whatever. But again, I've made my point. All I wanted to say.
It was a dumb point. It was a dumb point, and nobody gives a shit.
Thanks for white knighting for a guy like twice your age, but thanks, Toby.
He really needed you to step in, Toby. We were being incredibly mean by advocating for the trans person he was trashing on.
You were being incredibly mean whenever you sat there and compared him to some, super
No, Toby, I'm being
bigot.
mean to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Because you're being kind of a prick about everything.
I'll never interact with you guys again.
Okay, good. Thanks for the clip. We appreciate it.
Heaven forbid. Oh, my God. You mean we're going to lose Toby as a caller? How will the channel survive? Oh, my goodness. A person who doesn't know basic biology but has strong opinions about it is going to call in and tell us that he's never going to call in again.
I made my point. I don't care. We're just dancing in circles and just, yelling at each other.
You can hang up anytime, Toby. You're allowed to hang up.
When you hang up, will you go read a biology textbook?
Yes, I got him to hang up. Yes!
We didn't have to do it. Saves us a finger click.
What a great way to spend a birthday.
What a fucking baby. God damn. I'm sure all these people in Mesopotamia and the ancient peasants and literally it was the same. Did you notice? It was driving me crazy. Yeah. Every single time it was the exact same sarcastic line. Yeah. I'm sure this blah blah blah, and I'm sure this the other thing. And I'm totally sure this other thing. Like, bro, you're not sure about jack shit. You think pee comes out of the vagina and the uterus. I could not have made that funnier if I tried. If I had paid Toby, I want to tell you, man, I would not have had the balls to pay somebody to say that. It would have been too fucking funny. Oh, man.
So
just remember also, can we just recall the remembery time is that was said in response to me asking, what are the chemical difference between man, woman, and man pee and woman pee? Because he said that the plumbing of one bathroom is designed to contain the bodily fluids of men, and the plumbing of the other bathroom is designed for the bodily fluids of another person. So you literally believe that not only is pee stored in the uterus and exits through the vagina, but that it is so unbelievably caustic that it must have specialized equipment to contain it and to capture it and to move it away. That's different than anything a man has to deal with, because our pee is stored in the balls, clearly, where it is
obviously
far more temperate and moderate in climate. Fucking shit, dude. Oh, man.
That was very fun.
Hey, we got one call left, and then we're going to do super chats, y'all. So stay tuned for it. Because the other guy who wanted to call in and say that trans people are all forcing us to believe in whatever the fuck that guy bitched out. We got one call left, and it's Kevin calling in from Oregon, who wants to talk about, you guessed it, bathrooms and trans people in them. Kevin, you're on the line with Forrest and Luxander. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. God, I hope that you're either much nicer or much funnier than that last caller. It's kind of hard to beat, you know?
Listen, I'm having a great time.
Kevin, we've got about 2,000 people. We've got about 2,000 people watching you, Kevin. Would you like them to call you he, she, they, or something else?
What do you think?
I think he's got he, him in there. He likes he? You like he better?
Well, the fact that you guessed that implies that you kind of...
Oh. Well, no, it's actually our call screener. Our call screener put that in there. I think we just kind of missed seeing that in the call screen notes.
I missed seeing that. Yeah, I'm very stupid, and I missed it. It was on the screen in front of me.
She guessed it too, so I'm like...
Right on.
Kind of know it, right? But...
All right, well, what's your issue
It's typical.
Today?
It's definitely typical, but it's not always the case. And you'd be surprised. We talk to a lot of people with a lot of different kind of voices and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just polite. My
Old
pronouns
women
are
who've
he,
been smoking
him.
for a long time, you know.
Yeah. My pronouns are he, him. Yeah. So if anybody refers to me that way, no. It's easier. Anyway, what do you want to talk about, Kevin?
Biological males go to biological male designated restrooms, and biological females go to biological female designated restrooms. What's the confusion?
Can you tell me, have you ever in your life, because I have not, ever in my life, gone out to a restaurant or someplace and the sign on the door says biological male or biological female? It usually says men or women. So, like, what are these biological male spaces that we're talking about here?
Dodge. That's a dodge. I asked you a question. You responded.
We're asking for clarification. We're asking for clarification so that we can understand and answer your question.
Let me be more clear, since you think that was a dodge. Let me be more clear.
Okay.
Sex and gender are different things. Men and women, those are gender terms. Male and female, those are sex terms. So I'm talking about women going into a woman's bathroom and men's going into the men's bathroom. You're talking about male and female bathrooms. I don't know what that is.
That's right.
Yeah, I've never seen a bathroom labeled females.
So there's female and there's male.
But that's so I don't know, Kevin. Can you tell me? Can you tell me, like, when you go to the bathroom, does it say male on the sign? Because I've always seen bathrooms say men's.
Also, what's the opposite of a biological male? Like an android male?
You're trying to dodge. You're dodging.
I'm asking for clarification, Kevin.
There's designated bathrooms for biological females. There's designated bathrooms for biological males, and there's unisex bathrooms. Which
bathrooms are segregated by gender. It's a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom.
Okay. If you want to go that route, that's fine. But
that's
if a biologically male dad is standing outside of restrooms and he sees a biological male go into a biologically female bathroom, you're going to get your ass beat. I'm just letting you know. Okay. And no amount of work.
So you're pro assault. So that's good to know.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you are still
for the right.
you are still running into the same problem that you just said that's fine and acted like you were going to correct.
I don't have a problem. And you're the one dodging.
And also,
you're dodging.
I'm not dodging. I've addressed exactly what you're saying several times. I just want to be clear. I think that men should use the men's room and women should use the women's room unless they want to use the all-gender room. That's what I think.
Right.
And I've said that over and over. I don't think that there's any case.
Not what
question have I dodged?
Please restate your question.
You're bringing up gender, and then you explain to me unnecessarily the difference between gender and sex, which I already know. You
I didn't explain
that.
I didn't explain it. I just stated it.
What do you not understand about males going into biologically male-designated restrooms and females going into
so the part that I don't understand
exactly yes
what do you not understand?
The part that I don't understand is where you are seeing these biologically male rooms and biologically female rooms as opposed to men's rooms and women's rooms. That's the part that I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what you are describing, so I would like you to explain it to me.
Yes. I don't know how I can be any more clear. I'm not sure
because
why
the thing
you're
is
bringing
that
up gender.
like, you know,
I'm not sure why you're bringing up gender.
So because that's the facts, Kevin. The fact of the matter is that up until 2016, when North Carolina attempted to pass their first trans bathroom ban, bathrooms are segregated by gender. They're segregated not by biological sex, but by gender. No one has ever previously, before 2016, tried to police or make laws designating spaces by biological sex.
Right. So,
where did that happen?
You're not.
Can you explain to me where that happened?
You're not going to engage with the question.
I'm asking you. Can you please explain where that happened?
I have literally.
Where do you go?
I have answered your question directly.
Designated bathrooms and biologically.
Where do people? Where is that?
Okay.
Where does that happen?
Let me know when I'm able to talk. Let me know when I'm able to talk.
I'm asking you, where does that happen?
Everywhere. Everywhere there's a bathroom in public.
That's not true.
Every single bathroom in public.
In the state of Oregon,
that's not true.
In the state of Oregon, you use the bathroom that you identify with.
But I'm telling you right now, if a biological male goes into a designated biologically female bathroom, they're going to get their ass beat by a father trying to Kevin, maybe you were listening to the previous calls. Kevin, real quick, excuse me, real quick.
So I can give you 2 examples from within the past several years where a trans teenager has used the bathroom that you think they should use. So what you're saying is, oh, if a trans woman goes into the women's room, she's going to get assaulted. But I have an example, multiple examples really, of trans women using the men's bathroom, which is the one that you think they should be using, and getting the shit kicked out of them. So basically what you're saying is that basically based on what I know and based on what you know, trans people can expect to get their shit kicked in whether they use either bathroom.
That has nothing to do with what I'm asking. It has literally nothing to do with what I asked. No,
Kevin,
it doesn't at all.
Kevin, I just want to be really clear with you.
About trans. I said nothing about trans. I said,
Kevin,
well, why are you bringing up
what
the fuck are you talking about,
Kevin,
then?
Let me ask a clarifying question. Let me make it even easier. When you say biological male, biological male, what level are you talking about? Are we talking about chromosomal male, anatomical male, phenotypic male, like a genetic male? What are we talking about here?
But you wouldn't even get through the end of that sentence before you get your ass beat. You wouldn't, because no amount of word salad.
And that is exactly
ape noises.
And that is exactly what we're talking about, Kevin.
Order you think you put them in. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Like, any ape can make any amount of noises they want, but you're either biologically male or biologically female, and they're just going to start. They're just going to hit. They're just going to fight you. Period. There's really no talking. Just fighting.
No, Kevin, I actually
thank you for justifying my conceal carry, by the way.
Yes, I was going to say, but really, no, that's exactly, actually, thank you for saying that, because that's the point of the show, is we said at the very beginning of the show, and you have just justified everything we said, MAGA doesn't have any actual values or morals of their own, they just have hatred, and what you're just showing me is, it doesn't matter what the science says, it doesn't matter what logic and reason says, we're just going to start swinging. You can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter what's backing you up. Logic, reason, science. We're just going to beat your ass. So yes, thank you. All you have is hate.
Forrest,
you have no actual science.
Have you tried to go into a biologically female designated restroom and see what happens to you?
I have yet to see a biologically female designated restroom in my entire life, but I've never tried to go into a ladies' room because I'm a man.
Right. So you think that's going to get you, that little word salad there is going to allow a male to go into a female restroom? That's what you think? You think that's going to be?
No, you're just going to keep doubling and tripling down on being wrong. It's hilarious.
That's a dodge. That's a dodge, by the way.
What am I wrong about?
No.
What am I wrong about?
What I have said repeatedly, Kevin, is that because sex and gender are different things, male and female is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about men and women. There are no male or female restrooms. And when you talked about how they're everywhere, sorry to hear you've never been on an airplane where all the bathrooms are fucking unisex and all gender and all these. That's how it always is. Also, the bathrooms in your house are as well. Dodge. Just so fucking stupid because I am addressing the actual point that you are making, and every time I counter the actual point you're making with actual fucking science and reason, you either just go dodge or you say someone's gonna beat my ass. Like, you have no fucking brain to come up with an actual argument, so all you go is dodge, and you say that someone's gonna hurt somebody.
You think a dad is going to stand outside of a designated female-male restrooms and watch a male walk into behind his daughter?
What are you talking about?
I think a dad, a really good, hard American patriot dad should exercise his patriot American eagle freedoms to open a fucking biology textbook and realize that he can't just look at somebody and know everything about their chromosomes and
Kevin,
anatomy and shit.
Can I explain something to you, Kevin? Kevin, I want to talk to you about something real quick. I want to kind of get down to the meat of this issue. Okay, so transgender men who have vaginas, they were born with a vagina. They have a uterus. They were born with a uterus, and they take testosterone and they grow giant, big, manly beards. And in the states where they are trying to create a biological sex distinction in the bathrooms, those big, burly, hairy, beer belly men are legally obligated to use the female restroom. Have you ever considered that maybe once in your tiny little brain life?
Here's the thing. All you guys have done is dodge this.
That's a dodge. That's a dodge. That's a dodge.
That's not a dodge, you fucking idiot. That's a challenge to your logic.
What a fucking idiot.
No, it's not.
Dude,
it's not.
That's a direct challenge to your reasoning.
What do trans men do? What does a big, burly trans man, what is he supposed to do? Where does he go to the bathroom?
Can I answer
I'm asking you a question. Yeah, can you answer the question directly?
I keep getting cut off. Nobody cares about females going into males' restrooms. Males.
No, but no. What you just no. Listen, Kevin. If a dad is standing outside the bathroom where his daughter has gone into the bathroom and he sees a man walk into the bathroom, he doesn't know whether that person has a pussy or not. And if they do have one, that's where they're legally obligated to go to the bathroom. What you're saying is that trans man can expect to get his shit kicked in because he's doing the thing he's legally required to do in the state of Idaho.
Yeah, males cannot go into female restrooms, period.
Okay,
and you literally don't have any other thoughts, do you? That's the one thought you got up there for the day. And
all you're doing is dodging. You're not answering my question.
They literally just gave you an example that contradicts your point while using your own fucking logic, dipshit. They literally just explained your logic back to you, and the only thought bumping around in your head is, man can't go in woman room, dodge.
Hey, calm down. There's no reason to be getting upset.
No, I'm having too much fun.
This is so funny. I don't think you even understand how funny this is, Kevin.
What about a cisgender man who has a daughter, like a little 2-year-old daughter? Little 2-year-old girl has to go to the bathroom, and that cisgender man, the dad, walks into the ladies' room with his little girl to go to the bathroom.
Or does he take her into the boys' bathroom?
Does that guy also get his shit kicked in, or does he take that little girl into the men's room? What do you think is better? Or are you just going to say, man cannot go in woman's room, dodge?
Yet the mom can take the daughter into the female.
Have you never heard of a single
Daughter's-
father? What if the mom died when she was giving birth?
Mom's not around. Dad's at the store with his daughter by himself. Daughter has to pee.
And the biological male dad, can take his young daughter into the male restroom at that point.
Okay, so bathrooms are they're not segregated by biological sex then. You keep declaring and insisting and doubling down biological males, biological females. So you're just saying that it doesn't matter? Right. Actually, it doesn't matter what the biological sex is?
And switch it.
Oh, it matters.
A woman has to bring her son. A woman has to bring her son to the bathroom. Does she go into the woman's room or does she go into the men's room with her son?
That's up to them. That's up to them. The woman, it's the adult.
You mean that there are some situations where it's okay that a biological male go into the biological female room?
Maybe, yeah. In that case, yeah.
Do you think if a dad is standing outside the bathroom while his daughter is using the bathroom and then a woman takes her son into the bathroom, do you think it's right for that dad to kick the shit in of that boy because he's a biological male in a biologically female space? Listen.
See, the reason you bring that up is because you just want to dodge, right?
I just think you're fucking stupid, Kevin. Have a good day. I'm done.
Kevin, it's literally just stress testing your own fucking point, you brainless fucking troglodyte. Literally, you said a thing, and all we did was test the thing you said in different situations, and the only word that you could ever use to contradict it was just dodge. You just dodge. Dodge. You fucking brainless worm of a man.
That was very funny. I think he was a troll. I think he was a committed troll, for sure.
The problem is that it's so fucking difficult to tell. I am actually about to pass out. It's difficult to tell because as we said at the beginning, and as Kevin just showed, they don't have any fucking actual morals or values or positions of their own. All they have is hatred and violence, and that's what we've seen. It sucks, man.
Legit.
Anyway, we gotta read some super chats, and then we're gonna dodge on out of here. I think he was just so excited to get his Doge check that still hasn't come in the mail that he was promised. The word was still stuck in his head. Doge. Where are we seeing these supers? Where that's happening?
You got to go to the YouTube page and the chat and go to fan funding.
Oh my God.
So we can read them there.
Click buttons.
We read your $5 or more super chats. It's my birthday. Every time I say it's my birthday, I think of Thor Ragnarok. I'm like, it's my birthday. With all the fireworks and everything. I don't know. Anyway.
What is this fan funding button we're seeing?
At the top of the chat, there's a drop down. You can switch between top, live, or fan funding.
Oh, God. There's I have to open a new... Jesus.
I know. How dare.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone.
It's okay. I can start. Thank you, Safko, for your $5 super chat. It says, happy birthday, Lux. Thank you so much. And...
Very kind of you.
Yeah. Next is Cliff with a 10 Australian.
That one's mine. How dare you?
Yeah, well, it's fine. You do it then.
$10 to say Herpy Bert Dirt Lux. Sadly, I need to go, so I won't see the rest of the show till later. You're in for a treat, Cliff. It's gonna be a bad time.
I do think it would be very funny. I think it would be funny, the next time April Fool's is on the same day as Takis, to have, you and Jovan host Takis. I think that would be very funny.
Shout out to the person in the chat, the Aussie wrong key. What is that? For people who say these guys are violent and hateful, you sure do speak to people like total crap. Yeah, man, I called someone an idiot after they talked about why it's okay for certain people to be violently assaulted based on their appearance. Yeah, I tended to be a little bit shitty to that guy. You're right. And I was also really mean to the guy who said that he can just intuit his way through a fucking biomedical sciences and anthropology degree he's just so sure of what gender was like, and it's just so obvious. I was pretty crappy to that. You're right. Yeah. For me though, that definitely makes me look like a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely like me sitting alone in my office with my cat yelling at someone on the internet is equivalent to threatening to kick someone's shit in. Absolutely. That's so violent of me. How dare. Thank you, C. Gray, for the $10 who says, happy birthday, Lux, hashtag Team Lux. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Elizabeth Chris sent $20. Happy entry to Earth Day, Lux. Hell yeah.
Indeed. I landed here and I will come into my power soon. I'm pupating. And I will be emerging next year, actually. So look forward to that. Thank you, Joshua Everett, for the $5 who says, hey, MAGA has height and stupidity. True. Is height supposed to be referring to tallness and it's just spelled funny? I don't know. Anyway, thank you.
I think they meant hate.
As hate. Oh, okay. That's a terrible series of letters. The anything with the OUGHT or like AIGH. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Happy Lux Day. Have some of my Antifa check. Hell yeah. Thanks, George Soros.
Thank you. Thank you for the 7 Canadian from ADHD's Nuts, who says, happy birthday, Lux. I hope your B-Day has been as awesome as you are. Listen, this is frankly an amazing way to spend a birthday.
I'm not an asshole, so I'm going to read. Oh, no, this is $2. We were supposed to only read over $5. I'm still doing it anyway because I already committed to calling you an asshole. Queen Bitch Jane sent $2 with, what is that, a hippo?
Yeah.
Hippo, 3 birds, 2 sheep. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Hippothabird to ship. Hippothabird to ship is
Sounds
the
exactly
word.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peary Form, for the 10 Canadian, who says, happy birthday, Lux. Sorry to hear about Jimmy. Well, back to the show. Listen, this was a jolly surprise because I didn't check my text before I joined. And I was like, oh, cool, nice. I like Jimmy, but this has been fun. We haven't done a show together since like December, and we don't regularly have overlap. So, yeah, this is awesome.
The Green Man Dave sent $20 to say, holla, bitch dicks, Lux. They also go fuck yourself, Jimmy. I'm assuming that's what that means.
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah. Accurate. Thank you for the $10 from Liquidy Shid, who still has one of the best usernames. I hope nothing but bad things for Steve. Also, happy birthday month, Lux. Thank you. Listen, I can't co-sign your statement about Steve, but you know, it was definitely fun to yell at him. So
the problem, so Christopher just got muted in chat by our mods, but before they did, they wrote, no, it's a pattern. You guys are shitty and full of hate a lot. The left is legitimately more hateful than the right. And the problem with comments like that is that a lot of MAGA people actually sound that stupid. And so it's hard to tell if that is serious or not, because you're talking about like the right side of the political spectrum has actual fucking concentration camps right now where they are rounding people up based on their skin color and sending them into camps where they're being documented as being starved, tortured, raped, killed, beaten, abused, denied medicine. And we're also bombing several other countries. We are participating in genocide. But these guys over here, they said mean words about the people who believe in those things. And so really, who's more hateful? Who's more hateful? They actually sound that dumb. So I don't even know if this person should have been timed out or not, because they actually sound like that sometimes, and that's crazy.
It's the Poe's Law hitting hard.
There's a page that I just found on Threads of this person who's doing like North Korea style propaganda for Donald Trump, and it is a joke. It's a whole bit. It shows Trump like falling asleep at a meeting, and they're like, greatness must take breaks. Some people say sleep. I see a leader who's choosing to take this time to recharge, to lead the country. And it's like, it's like Dear Leader 47 or something like that. It's great. And like the only thing funnier than the page is how scary it was that it took me as long as it did to realize it was a joke. It's like, fuck, bro. Oh, which one did you just read? You just read Liquidy Shit, right?
Yeah.
$5 from this long name person. Hey, Forrest, if given the opportunity, would you come on Timcast IRL and debate Tim Pool? It would be fun to watch. I don't know who that is very well. I'm pretty sure that's the guy in the beanie, right?
Tim Pool is terrible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. For the same reason, I'm not going to go on Kent Hovind's podcast has invited me on. Peter Boghossian invited me on. Who else? A bunch of people invite me onto their fucking shows. And for the same reason as all them, probably not going to do Tim Pool. Why on earth would I lend my face to their platform to drive viewers towards them when I genuinely, like, most of the time, they're not fucking serious. They're just bought in to the bit. They can't back out anymore. They're just grifting because they know this is where their income comes from. I'm not going to drive people that way because a view is a view is a view. Mm-hmm. They know where to find me here, and they could say the same thing about me. They could very easily turn this around and say, well, I'm not going to call into the line then. Okay, then we're not going to talk. That's it. You want to talk about this stuff, we can talk in a serious way. That's fine. It's the same reason I don't do formal debates. Because formal debates on the internet are not actually going to change anybody's mind. They're structured so that the person who's spewing the most bullshit always wins because you don't have time to correct all of it in your rebuttal. And they're generally just popularity contests where people go in there knowing who they want to watch and knowing who they want to agree with. So if any of these people want to call into one of our shows and have a casual conversation, happy to do that. If you can't handle a casual conversation, not going to do a more serious interview with you. And I'm certainly not going to go on any of those channels. Same thing, copy paste, all of that. I get comments all the time. You should debate Richard Dawkins. You should debate Colin Wright. And you should debate this person and that. But call in. I'm not going to be some dick and be like, I'm right here. You're scared. They might just not want to fucking deal. I don't want to deal with their fucking show. They might not want to deal with mine. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to cream an octogenarian in a debate. That doesn't make me look good.
As far as talking smack.
Yeah.
But, like, at the end of the day, dude, like, nobody owes anybody a conversation. They don't owe me one. I don't owe them one. The phone number's open for anybody who wants to talk. That's all there is to it. This is where I do debate calls. Or conversation, debate, whatever the fuck you call this. Whatever. So probably not going to talk to Tim Pool anytime soon. Also, if that is who I'm thinking about, fuck that dude. But
yeah, I can't remember any of his specific stupid things, but it's just like every time I hear about him, I'm like, well, that's stupid.
The name pops up in my head as like some dude in a beanie
doing
some bullshit. Isn't he? He's super like Alex Jonesy too, right? Didn't he just have Alex Jones on? I think I'm thinking about the right person. He just had Alex Jones on. If this is who I think it is, then I do know who we're talking about a little bit.
I mean, he's always wearing a black beanie. And he's like his most like recent video is Chinese quote spies indicted for attempted bombing of U.S. Central Command, like pro Erica Kirk content and whatever. Yeah,
this is exactly the dude. Listen to his recent interview with barely comprehensible, very not sober Alex Jones, who came onto his podcast. And Tim Pool is so far up Alex's ass that he can't tell him, like, hey, bro, go fucking sober up, and then we'll try this again another time. He just has to sit there and pretend like Alex is making fucking sense. As he's like, we're shutting the channel down. This is where the reality of the situation is that we're shutting the channel down. And like that's the whole interview. And then Tim Pool's like, yeah, man, yeah, stay strong, yeah. Oh my glob. Yeah, dude, it's bad.
So legit.
It's really bad.
Thank you, Anathema Grace, for the $10, who says, congratulations on your circumnavigation of the sun. Take my money to support your eco-socialist education endeavors and help design efficient ways to clean our air. Or don't. I'm not a cop. Hearts. I'm going to hopefully be working on renewables and not about cleaning the air necessarily, like solar panels and stuff. But I am on my way to that eco-socialist future, so we'll see.
And they're going to circumcise the sun a million more times.
Did I tell you that it's like 20 credit hours per term?
Hell yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for an undergrad program. Like that's
it's
intense.
Like a community college, like how to bust through all of it at the cheaper college before you go to the 4-year university. But yeah, and you could do it and take longer. But if I'm doing the technically full time, I'm gonna die. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, dude.
I'm excited.
Yeah, dude. Fucking got a monarchist fascist loser in the chat who just got timed out saying Trump 2028. And the reason I bring it up is because this is further proof of what I said at the beginning of the show. MAGA doesn't have morals. They don't have values. They don't believe in anything. They just have hate and a blind cultish loyalty to Trump and anything that drips off of the bottom of his nuts. And here you see this: violate the Constitution, violate the American way, give this dude an extra term, make him a dictator, make him a king. I love him so. That is literally what these fucking losers believe in. Why is Steve asks Crush 00 for $5? Nobody knows.
Good question.
Nobody knows.
Thank you, Aliashana Silverbow, for the $5. Calacia made me send a super chat. Happy birthday, Lux. Happy just regular day, Forrest. Are you happy now, Calacia? Are you happy now, Calacia? It must have been fun trying to moderate that chat today.
Patty Chris, this motherfucker sent $9.99 and no message. But thank you very much for the money, so we appreciate it. It's very kind of you.
Hell yeah.
Goes a long way.
Thank you for the 20 from Erica Vixen, who says, dude doesn't want to answer the question. Very telling. Luckily in Iowa, even though they can do it to me, I have recourse through Iowa 2A laws. Honestly, legitimately, like, do you think trans people don't have guns, my dude? You're like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up. Like, fucking, I don't think so, actually.
OMG. Oh, wait, no, sorry. This is it's just telling the truth. Yeah, so is doxing people, but it doesn't make it ethical, says Brutus Magnuson. $5 from that person. And yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, first of all, this person wasn't telling the fucking truth. This person was just reporting on their feelings. And second of all, don't hide behind, I'm just telling the truth, as if it makes you a reasonable person. Like, holy shit, dude. Lame.
Yeah. Thank you, Divinity Dawn, for the $5. OMG, happy birthday, Lux. I hope you have had a wonderful Sunlap celebration. Indeed. I'm doing my primary celebration on Saturday. I'm going bowling with my partner and one of our best friends. And then I'm going to eat cannoli. I fucking love cannoli. And then I'm gonna do a soldering kit, like a learn how to do electrical soldering kit. So that's a very exciting way to spend a weekend.
Car Junkie 25, you've had 3 hours to call in and have science explained to you. Sorry to hear that you just caught up. But call me next time. I host every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on the other channel. I'll post a link to that in the comments right now so that you can ignore it and pretend like you won an argument that you never had.
Yeah.
Beep bop boop. This is my next stream, Car Junkie. This is my next stream. I'm going to put it in the chat for you right now. It's called Christianity Sucks, Disagree, Call Forrest, Valkai, and John Gleason. And I'm going to put it in right there. And now you can use that link and you can call in and I can explain to you that not only are you wrong about chromosomes, you're also wrong about gender. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can compare your definition of woman to mine. We'll start with that one. We'll have a little Matt Walsh moment, only we won't be fucking losers about it.
I'm so excited to sit through that conversation and not be able to comment on it whatsoever.
It's their favorite thing to do, and it's my favorite thing to do, too.
I will legitimately just take my headphones out. I'm like, this is going to be going for 40 minutes. I don't need to hear any of this.
Yep. For video watching, sent $4.99. Steve sounds like King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. Just selfish and stupid, too. It was a rough call. It was a rough call.
I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph in too long. Thank you, William, for the $5. Happy birthday, Lux. Forrest, go pet something fluffy. That's a very strange thing to say, and it has implications.
Don't tell me what to do, is what I'm going to say. Narissa 800 sends $19.99. Come on, Steve lives in a condemned trailer his parents gave him. I mean, flip, dude. Dude's definitely calling in from his mom's cell phone.
Yeah. Do you sometimes get callers who they're like suddenly like, I have to leave, and you're like, I'm 80% sure that your mom just walked into your bedroom?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sporkbutt. Again, amazing name for the $5. No. I prefer Steve from Blue's Clues. True, agree.
Ghost Wolf. Oh, Ghost. What the fuck? I read that Gray Ghost Volume 1, and my brain mixed that up with the vole as a wolf thing, and I put it at the beginning and said, I don't know why Gray went in there. It just disappeared in my brain. I'm incredibly stupid, and I don't know how to read. Gray Ghost Volume 1 sent $10 to say, can we be sure that Steve has an intact spinal cord after bending over so far backwards to avoid answering any questions directly? Don't know. It was just a dodge. He's just dodging. That's a dodge. A big old dodge.
Oh my god, that's too funny.
Suck my dodge, bro.
Thank you, God Sinner, for the $20. Who says, happy birthday. Hope y'all have a better day after the Steve call from Caracal. Again, I'm having a wonderful time. The worst thing about today is that I have to go cook dinner after this.
Grey Ghost Volume 1 sent another $5. Quick one to say happy birthday to Lux. Also, thank God that Jimmy Person was finally replaced. Marked improvement. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We're gradually going to take this over, and then
fire
5
that
days
guy.
a week, you'll see everybody else but Jimmy. And Jimmy's name will still be the profile picture and still on there. We're just going to slowly squeeze him out until the only thing he's doing is the fucking budget every month.
It's still called Jimmy Snow in the line. That's still a profile picture. And we change nothing. And I introduce myself as Jimmy. No, a different person introduces himself as Jimmy Snow every day. I do it. You do it. Jovan does it.
Yes.
We're all Jimmy Snow.
Yes, exactly. We
are Jimmy Snow. We carry the flame.
Oh my gosh. Where are we? Yes, Fuzzy Logic. Thank you for the $10. Steve, what happens if the landlord changes their mind and decides not to sign a contract with you after they see the marker on your ID? There's no contract to enforce, but it's still discrimination. Yeah, legitimately. Like, how do you even get to the point where you're signing a lease?
That's the whole thing we were trying to get to, but Steve could not handle a simple, direct question. Wow,
No.
The whole thing I was trying to get to is, okay, you now have imposed a different unreason. Are you seeing the color correction on my monitor when I pull my hands up versus down?
Yeah, you are
seeing
so
that?
red. Yeah.
And then it's normal. And then it's red as fuck. And then it's normal. That's so annoying. I don't know how to fix that. I think it's the LUT that I'm using. But, like, yeah, dude, it's just, like, I just wanted to show, like, hey, you are imposing a different, unrealistic, discriminatory standard on people that makes their lives harder and makes it more likely that they are going to be discriminated against in the future. I adjust this. Well, that just makes me look whiter. Does it change the redness still? Yep, still there.
Is that on, like,
Awesome.
auto or something? That's so weird.
Yeah, it's a LUT, because if I turn it off, then nothing happens. If I turn it off, it's still color correcting. This is apparently my webcam trying to white balance. Like, even the sign in the back gets stupid. Look at that.
It's like looks brighter and then darker. That's so weird.
What a fucking shit show. I can do this.
Yeah.
That's good. That looks right. It's fucking. That's
during the super chats is the perfect time to start fucking with your camera settings.
I don't know what to do, y'all. It is what it is, and we all just have to deal with it together like a family.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's my god, that call sucked. Fucking the worst kinds of dicks.
You may need to check
please.
whether or not your Zoom auto video shit is doing shit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're right. Is that a thing? Oh, my glob. I'll try to fix that now. You read the next thing. I'm going to work on that.
I will, even though it's your turn. You're making me do your work.
Yeah.
How dare you? What a man
it's your
thing to do. Thank you, Nightmare, for the $5. Please, please, please. What do we do to drop this POS, Steve, before I throw up from listening to his nonsense? Listen, honestly, Steve was one of the most chill calls that we had today. Not the most, one of the most.
At the end of the day, I can add lip colors? What the fuck? I don't want any of this. What's going on? Read another one. I'm doing this now. This is what my video
I'll just do this now. Yeah. Thank you for the $10 from Michael, who says, "Happy birthday, Luxander." Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, Meg, for the $10.
And things you can add to your
Wait, you can get your
Zoom?
eyebrows? Is it like a Snapchat filter where it does little weird stuff and imposes it on your face?
What is happening? There's video effects and audio effects. It's like TikTok up in this business.
I don't know why you have so much trouble with Zoom. You are such a boomer with Zoom. I never have any problems with it. And you're like, how dare this whole thing stop working?
It's terrible. And I blame Jimmy should change the Zoom settings. He should make it better.
As a matter of fact.
Touch up my appearance. What's that mean? Am
Is that
I beautiful now?
Yeah, it like smoothed your skin. It gave you like that weird soft glow.
Yeah. But does it still change my face? Yes, it does. Now I'm beautiful and red. I look like Bob the Tomato. Oh my glob, dude. What a stupid situation.
Thank you, Meg, for the $10. Happy birthday, Lux. Those glasses are fantastic. Yes, indeed. I'm tired of wearing them now, and I'm probably going to have to get rid of them because they keep absorbing the oils from my face, but it's a great way for me to not have to continue telling everyone that it's my birthday. You know, I'm just out here representing.
Smash that like button for Lux's oily face.
Exactly.
Cardinal Chimp sent $10. Happy birthday, mother. Was it your choice to not have Jimmy on his own channel, or just luck?
Just bad luck. Jimmy is sick as a dog today. So I didn't even know. I actually didn't even check my texts until I got here. And then I was like, oh, I guess it's Forrest today. Cool. Thank you, God
We
Sinner.
got AI Forrest before GTA 6.
Yeah. Thank you, God Center, for the $10. I hoped y'all would have a better day, but blech, this call is full of red flags. Again, I think we both had a lot of fun. Listen.
Yeah. And
Not
that's
to clown
what
on
matters.
people.
That's what matters.
Exactly.
We had a great time. Thank you guys so much for the work you do. It genuinely helps me deal with how horrid the world is for trans women right now. It's a bad place. It's a bad time.
We're in the bad timeline. It's the bad place. However many different ways you can put it, it's the worst version of events currently. Probably
Shit
not
donks.
true. I shouldn't say that. I'm tempting fate. I need to shut up. Thank you, Fiona, for the $25. Happy birthday, Lux. Thank y'all.
Hold up, says Attack on My Pony Productions. What? $10. It says, hold up. MAGA are concerned about trans women in women's spaces. Why do they accept Trump, who admitted barging into women's changing rooms on Howard Stern's talk show back in 2005? I bring that up all the fucking time. All these fucking people, oh, we gotta protect women, we gotta protect little girls. Meanwhile, voted for the pedophile who talked about his infant daughter and said that he hopes she grows up to have her mother's big tits.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, protect girls, protect children. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fucking loser behavior.
Thank you, Melatonin Ale, for the $5. I went to the bathroom with my trans coworker, and I knew her pre-transition. I was totally fine. Also, happy birthday, Lux. Yeah. Turns out it's not a fucking issue.
How grainy it got for a minute. I'm still messing with the settings over here.
Priorities.
Catalina Gearbox sent $5. We are literally regulating. We are literally there's a lot of spelling going on in this thing. We are literally regulating who uses the fucking bathroom. Part of small government. My ass. I'm assuming that was supposed to say ass.
Yeah, they just have to censor themselves in the super chats. Thank you. Totally not a demon. I believe you 100% for the $10 donation. Who says, Travis, it's not complicated. You trying to rationalize your bigotry and still feel like a good person is what's complicating it for you. Fucking true. Legitimately, I don't know how to have this discussion. And like, there's so many different angles of this. It's the racism angle. Like there's so many different ways where it's like how, like you can't tell someone that they're being racist without hearing like, I am a racist or I am a bad person. It's like you can have racist thoughts and not be a bad person because racism is the culture you were born into. Yeah, I've struggled with this for a long time. All the way back to my cutting my teeth in the atheism circles where it's like, even if I'm not saying your beliefs are harmful, or if I'm just saying your beliefs are incorrect, it's doing it less now.
It's better.
It's like if you say your beliefs are incorrect, people still take it as like a personal attack when I'm trying to critique your ideas, not you as a person.
Exactly. And it is really fucking hard on that because people get so sensitive. And there's that fucking, this is slightly off topic, but it's a good thing and a bad thing because I don't know if you've seen that meme. It's like a short little comic strip of like Allied soldiers coming through the trench, and they're like, I think there might be Nazis ahead, and they just wait, and then you hear from the bushes, not everyone you disagree with is a Nazi, and then they just start shooting. At the end of the day, yes, it is a problem because, yeah, people get in their feelings about it, and it's like, hey, that was a fucking shitty thing to say, and they can't, they have to process the fear and the shame and the guilt and the anger and the feeling of attack and all that, and you have to work through that. Also, it does help when bad people out themselves. You know what I mean? Makes your life a lot easier. Yep. Which one did you use? Read
Totally Not a Demon.
Totally Not a Demon. Yeah. Let's. Katie Iron Fist sent $5. Travis is projecting his feelings about his cousin onto the trans community. That's what we were saying. That was what we were saying the whole time, and that was so upsetting to that other fucking guy, whatever his name was. They had to
Travis.
call in and bitch about it.
Who was it? Kevin? I can't fucking remember. All these white boy names. Y'all look the same to me. I'm sorry. Little Eepy Girl, thank you for the $5. Happy birthday, Lux. Enjoy what you can and look forward to more things worth celebration. Hell yeah. I think 2026 is going to be a good year for me. It's been good so far.
Rook is king. That's definition. Like, that's not true. $10. I want to thank you, Lux, for helping me in my journey of realizing that I'm agender. Hell yeah. When I look over the expectations of what I was told I was supposed to be, I found joy in for my first time in my life. That's fucking awesome.
Awesome. I'm proud of you. Listen, I may have helped you reveal some things about yourself, but you're the one who did it. You're the one who claimed it. That's on you. You get all the credit. Thank you, Oh So Sage, for the $5 who says, Travis, kids are far more accepting than you think. Please listen and learn. Do better for your sister, her kids, and yourself. From another Mississippian. Happy birthday, Lux. Indeed. Yeah. Like, yeah, your cousin might be a shit person, but that doesn't mean that every trans person is bad.
Don Quixote, hell yeah, sent $5. But the facts hurt my feelings, a narrative, Travis cultishly.
So true.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you, Mira Featherbender, for the $5, who says federal prisons are currently experimenting on trans people medically, and we can be gathered up at airports by ICE. But yeah, we're fear-mongering. Exactly.
Fed prisons are experimenting on trans people medically.
I know you weren't listening because of the looking like a girl thing that I've got going on, but I did just read that one.
No. First of all, man is speaking. Second of all, I got caught up because I was reading this person who's getting muted in the chat, and I wanted to invite them to call in the next thing and complain. But hey, it's more important that I read it anyway. JP Bishy sent $5. Happy birthday day. Xander, is a colon in there? I don't know. L colon Xander. That's your name. Thanks for making this universe brighter, Forrest. You cool too. You don't know me. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara Barrett, for the $5. Happy birthday, Luxander. Hugs and red heart and whatever this is, and a wave and purple heart.
Hell yeah. 1999 from Epoxylol says, happy birthday, Lux. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Lena Langton, for the $5, who says, Toby is mad. Oh, yeah, it was fucking Toby. Is mad, but everything I've had to say about Travis got auto-modded, so if he's angry, I'm incandescent. Toby, go fuck yourself. Legitimately. I don't need a 21-year-old to lecture me about how to conduct myself on the show. Like, yeah, I'm a dick sometimes. It's the only time in my life where I allow myself to be as mean as I want to be, and I'm not even that fucking mean.
It's very rare that I pull the reins off and will actually call somebody a name. I didn't do it for a very long time. When I was hosting these shows, I would usually, I would insult the argument, but not the person, all the things. And then there was a certain point where I was like, hey, no, actually, you're just a fucking idiot for what you just said. Yeah. And I don't do it all. I try. It's probably somebody can pull a compilation together of me doing it way more often than I think. But I try not to get to that point unless somebody is just being irredeemably and aggressively stupid. But holy shit, dude, you're gonna fucking call in and scream about how you know this stuff better than anybody, and this is all this woke bullshit ideology, and you fucking don't. I can't let it go. And then you say that piss comes from the uterus and out the vagina. I can't handle it. Let me know if you've birthed a piss today, ladies. Tell me what's going on with that. Oh my glob, dude.
Wow.
The Arcane Goat 2024 sent $20. It feels like it's been a while since I've had a show, so we've had a show so focused on people pooping, and it should be more. Happy B-Day, Lux. Hell yeah.
Yep, it was so on topic today. Every single call. I don't think we usually get that much focused. We're gonna have to split those clips up and intersperse them with some other things, because otherwise it's just gonna be 6 clips of talking about pooping. Everybody poops. Thank you for the 10 from Squirrel Knitter, who just says happy birthday, Lux. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody.
Hell yeah. One-Eyed Atheist sent $10 more. If someone starts worrying about where I expel waste, I need to politely explain that it's a bit beyond my limits. Having an entire country debating about where I pee is insane. It really is. It really is.
Yep. Every day I wake up and I go, wow, okay, this is what's happening. Cool. That's great. Thank you, Silverhawk, for the $5, who says, I have children with a trans woman. They weren't harmed emotionally or psychologically because we talked and continue to talk to them about it. See, and that one anecdote means that all trans people are perfect and immaculate and unquestionable.
I love, because it really is, I've said this 1,000,001 times, and I will continue to say so because it's always true. The anti-trans arguments and bullshit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis is literally word for word the exact same gibberish as we've had to deal with when we were talking about gay marriage when I was in high school. 10, 15 years ago, when we were arguing about gay people getting married. Well, who's going to explain it to the kids? This person, I knew a person who came out as gay and it tore their family apart, just destroyed their children. Didn't have to. And then the same thing, who's going to teach children what does this mean? The same way if I want to teach kids biology, right, and I go into an elementary school classroom, little kindergartners, and I want to talk about biology to these kids, what am I going to do? Am I going to start talking about how, histone acetyltransferases are going to carry over, this enzyme is going to carry over methyl groups and acetyl groups to CpG islands and remodel heterochromatin and euchromatin? No, I'm going to say this is an animal. This is what a plant is. Like this, this is what your body looks like. Isn't that neat? Basic biology for little children, right? Same thing with this. If we're talking about sex and gender and sexuality, teaching little children, little kindergarten, baby children, no one's going to go in there and fucking show them fucking porn. You say, hey, these are what your body parts are called. This is what the words mom and dad mean. This is what, this is what boys and girls are. These are things you teach children so that they're safe and protected. You teach them what their body parts are called, so if anybody touches them there, they know what to say, and they can report effectively and protect themselves. You can say, if you teach kids, I have a mom and a dad, you have now taught them sexuality. So if you now teach them, this person has a mom and a mom, or this person has two dads, this person's mom actually turned out to be their dad, they didn't know yet, it's Shane. This the same fucking lesson at the same fucking level. And I'm so unbelievably bored by people who like to pretend that it's somehow sexualizing children to teach them about homosexual relationships or transgender people the exact same way that we do cisgender heterosexual people and their relationships. You just can't divorce the ideas of gay people and trans people from sexuality in your own fucking stupid brain. And you expect kids to have the same problem? Kids are smarter than you, motherfucker. They can figure it out.
Listen, just because you can't stop thinking about being pegged, listen, it doesn't mean that children as young as 5 are thinking about it, okay? Thank you, Star
So
Pilot,
annoying.
for the $5, who says, I just injected 0.2 mils of estradiol while listening to this dumbass music to my ears. Hell yeah. Radical.
Go do it again. The Fuzzy Logic sent $5. Pee is stored in the balls, Toby, probably.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Cardinal Chip, for the chimp for another $10, who says, I feel the need at this point to show everyone that not all of us in the trades are bigots or suffer from TDS. Listen, I get it. Literally, I'm married to a tradesman. I know tradesmen are not fucking stupid. And they blue collar workers like that, you just really give people a bad name, I think. It's like, yeah, y'all are smarter on average than that guy.
Eon Dust sent 10 ass dollars. Can Toby DM me his address? I want to send him a box of tissues. He doesn't get tears so he doesn't get tears everywhere from all the crying he's doing. So
from the moment we answered the call, he was in hysterics. It was crazy.
So emotional.
I know, so emotional, legitimately. Thank you, Belonks, for the $5, who says, I'm a chemist, but I totally know more about machining than this guy with 0 things to back up this statement. I saw someone in the chat who was like, there's no way he's a machinist. He's a button pusher. It's like, he's not even smart enough to do like the in-depth blue collar work of machinery.
You're so sweet, you beautiful bear. Thank you, my love. What is this? Some sort of pile? I love it. It looks beautiful. She made me some sort of like pile of taco stuff with like
taco salad night.
Something like that. What a sweet lady. Go over all the details. Blop. There's the YouTube link, and let me correctly spell that. There we go. There's the person in chat who says, can you tell me what a woman is with facts? Yes, I fucking can. Click that link right there. It'll take you to my show on Sunday. Call the fuck in. Get in early, because lines fill in pretty quick, and we will go over all the details, and Lux doesn't get to talk.
Exactly.
Is the rule.
Ideal situation, TBH.
Lena Langdon sent $4.99. Kevin also probably thinks urine is stored in the testes. Is it not?
This is revelatory. Thank you for the $5 from Meg, who says, if you can dodge science, you can dodge logic, apparently. I so thought that was about to be like when you dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's exactly what I thought it was, too.
Sorry.
No, that's exactly where I thought it was going. If you can dodge science, you can dodge a ball. Barbara Barrett sent 5 monarchy dollars. The Anglo-Saxon word for someone gender nonconforming was, I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be right, balding? Balding? I don't know how to pronounce the AE thing. I think it is just the sounds of A and E together. So I'm going to say balding.
It's Ed. I think bedling.
Bedling?
Because like estrogen, they also spell estrogen with that weird little AE or like
With
OE at the
OE.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But thank you.
Meddling.
What is HUF?
I don't know how to speak your fucking weird language. Hungarian ultra farts. Thank you for 1,000 of those.
It was about $3. Thank you. Thank you, Arcane Goat, for another $10, who says the biological male and biological female restrooms go to a different school in a different state. You wouldn't know them. Truly.
I'm going to put the link in the chat again to that same person. He said, can you send the link to the show? I want to join it Sunday. The link is in the chat yet again. Super duper easy.
Q&A line here on YouTube. At Q&A line, we do shows like 5 or 6 days a week, and the Sunday one at nighttime, 7 p.m. Central Time. That's where you want to get in to talk to Forrest.
Yep. Just search on YouTube, type in The Line, go to the channel with the logo of my and Promise's face, and then look for my dumbass in the thumbnail for this show on Sunday. Couldn't be easier. Kevin is a certified biological idiot, says Alamam. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Jimmy, for the $5. Who said Kevin literally just wants to assault people. This is a violent man. Yeah, I think so. Oh my God, I reached the bottom and then it moved itself because a bunch more super chats have come in. Now I got to find my place. Okay, I found it. Okay, cool. Thank you for the $5. Rainmaker is the next one.
Do what you said. Oh my God!
I'm just gonna do this next one because Forrest is distracted.
I'm doing it now. I'm sorry. Oh my God! Oh, and it reset now. It pulled me all the way down to the bottom. No!
I told you.
No! Where were we? Oh, Kevin's biological Rainmaker 838 said $10. Happy birthday, Lux. Thank you for all you do. You legit made the last year bearable for me. Hell yeah.
I'm glad. It's been a shitty year. Thank you, Kimuruska, for the 14 Canadian, who says, happy birthday, Lux. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Lux, also from Jimmy R.R. Page. Hell
Another $3 from Bence Hideg. Thank you.
Thank you for the Hungarian Ultra Farts. We got happy birthday, Lux, says Godless Sinner. Glade. You got joy out of the brain dead MAGAs from Kara Kell. Hell yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Forever Unbound, for the $10, who says, happy birthday, Lux. Mine was Tuesday. Urine is stored in the uterus, y'all. Yeah. Is that going to be my mug for this year? I'm going to have to remember that one. Because I think I did gender is stored in the balls a couple years ago as my holiday mug. So, yeah. Uterus. Pee is stored in the uterus, y'all.
$20 from Lizzie Dog. Happy uterus pissed out day. Babies are the worst kidney stones. Love y'all. Hibbly bibbly dick.
It always ends in dicks with you.
It always ends in dicks with you. Luxander 2026.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. It's oh my glob. Hibbly bibbly doc. This something cock. Hans Liu sent 10 European things for Forrest Dalek voice, but I guess Doctor Who is not that well known in the US. I've never seen Doctor Who, but I hear it's good.
I think it was good up to a point. And then I stopped watching. But thank you for the 5 from Cardinal Chimp, who says, please never say cream and octogenarian again. I'm going to say it even more now.
Cream on and octogenarian. One-eyed atheist. Happy remembering that you were once squeezed out of a hole approximately 4 inches wide. That's pretty cool. Horrible.
Indeed. Thank you, William, for the $5. Forrest is so much fun. Lux, I'll get you make all the phobes cringe with all the weird feels. Dodge, repost, Perry. Indeed. Dodge. That's me becoming Piccolo. If you know, you know. I can't believe you. Stay on task.
No, it's because someone in the chat, someone in the chat has suggested that when I asked this person, one of the first, I think it was Steve, I said, what was the last thing you ate today? as a way to explain this is a hypothetical. And this person is saying that question about asking what they ate for breakfast apparently is tied back. There's some 4chan post that a lot of right-wing racist types are talking about with like low IQ people and things like that. And apparently that sounds an awful lot like that. And I heartily accept if I'm saying something that has some problematic background without realizing, I want to know. So I appreciate this person saying this. However, I asked what was the last thing you ate today. I didn't ask specifically breakfast. And also that is super, super generic. So I don't know if it's like reasonable to try to make it applicable that way. But I am going to look into it, and I'm going to double check, because if there's a better way to do a hypothetical like that, great. I got that one from fucking Nominal Naomi when she debated that other person, some fucking hateful ass trans bigot on TikTok, Callie Cadigan, I believe, who is a super shitty transphobic trans woman and going all sorts of Blair White about it. You know what I mean? So like, that's where I got that from. If there's an issue there, I'll look into it. I'll find out. I do appreciate people bringing things to my attention. As of right now, it seems a bit generic for me, but like, I'll look into it. Yeah. You just read the one from William Matz, right? Slickety Shid sent $10 more. I'm afraid if you were to use Second Amendment to defend yourself, someone attacking you in the bathroom, the right wing would use that as a catalyst to do much worse shit. We already saw that with Alex Peretti. Dude was legally carrying a firearm, never grabbed it, never brandished it, had a permit for it, and was disarmed forcibly and then shot in the back 10 times. And we already have MAGA people coming out here, well, he shouldn't have had a gun. Same people who are using that very same right that he was exercising to hand wave away school shootings every fucking day, now totally fine with it for that. So yeah.
Also, I would much rather be like alive and not with my jaw broken and, you know, do an investigation than, you know, be having like the two options. Somebody assaults me, I get my jaw broken and my shit kicked in, versus like I shoot someone and then there's an investigation into that. Like you can kind of see the two options present there and why someone might be more inclined to carry something with them to protect themselves, you know? So, but also because these people actually don't know fucking dick shit about anything, nobody ever bothers me in public bathrooms. So
Kevin is currently talking with Justin, y'all. It's rough. He just moved over to Justin's show.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm looking that up.
That's funny. Thank you, Dusk
After
Frame.
this ends, go say hello to Justin.
Yeah, go say hi to Justin. Tell him how cringe
after
Kevin
this show.
was.
Don't you dare leave this show right now.
Yeah. Dusk Frame with the $5 Australian Lux. How does it feel to be gay and old? Pretty amazing. You know, I gotta say, I enjoy. Ever since I turned 30, I've been like, damn, this is pretty legit.
I've enjoyed my 30s. I feel like I'm doing a lot of things.
I feel like it just gets better and better. You know, like people are always like, oh my God, I don't like aging. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I got white hair. That's so cool.
And again, why does it always happen? Pro-Christianity in the chat. You've had hours to call in. I'm going to put the link to my next show. This is for you. Call this show on Sunday if you want to talk about Jeebus. It'll be a great time. Jimmy sent in $10 of his own money to his own channel. In a way, letting Forrest host was my birthday gift to Lux. I have, in fact, been vibe coding our new internal software the whole time. Don't let him gaslight you, all right? That's not what's happening.
Absolutely just slacking. Thank you, Hunt and Farm, interesting name, for the $10, who says, new lip color and softened appearance. Glad to see Forrest getting the gender-affirming care they want. Love you, doll. More importantly, happy birthday, Lux. Go fuck yourself, Jimmy.
Oh, you said Jimmy was slacking, and I thought of some fucked up shit that I can't even say on this show. Meg sent $5. He was very much pulling from dodgeball on that, so you nailed it. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Here's 5 more because birthday. Yay. Hell yeah. Very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, clever name, too. Very clever name. For the $5, with Donald Trump signing the money, now I will need to invest in a PDF file rubber stamp. Oh, yeah, like, wait, what about signing the money? Wait, what? I guess I missed this.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either.
It's a whole whatever. I think I don't know what this is, but I'm going to take a guess. that Donald Trump has decided that you have like the treasurer's signature on every bill, that he needs his. I'm gonna guess that's what's happening because that's the stupidest, most childish thing.
Yeah, they won't make a new dollar with his face on it, so he's got to find some other way to put himself on the currency.
Exactly. I'm just gonna look. And see if that's a thing. I don't see. Wait. This is from. Okay, so I found this from CNY Central. Trump's signature to appear on U.S. paper currency for nation's 250th birthday. This is the only. I'm gonna see if there's another source for this because, like,
I see one from another local news called WPRI.
Home.treasury.gov. Treasury announces President
official.
Donald J. Trump's signature to appear on future U.S. currency. I can put that on the screen there. That's
interesting.
From the U.S. Department of Treasury is what the idea is. Is that an order of the 250? So this is the first I'm hearing about this, and apparently it just happened today. That might be why I didn't find any other news things about it, but that's a thing. That's a thing that we're trying to do. I literally just came up with the stupidest, most childish scenario I could possibly think of, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And this is we live in hell. Happy birthday, Lux, says Micah Clark. Thank you, Micah Clark.
Thank you, Barbara, for another 5 quid, who says it is pronounced badling, and the word for gay man was arsling. Okay, fucking fascinating.
Fuck yeah. Arslings, we should bring that back.
Yeah.
that's great.
It's like twink. I love that, actually.
That's phenomenal. Hunt and Farm sent $5 more. So kind of Jimmy to offer a share of the profits this week to Lux for their birthday. W. Jimmy, you know he's going to do that, right? And he's going to also give it also to me as well because I helped. That's what it is.
That's how it works. That's how our socialist profit share model works.
Is that everybody gives everything to Forrest and Lux? Is how it is.
Yes, legitimate. Cool. Well, thanks,
was the
everybody.
Show. Sorry. But thanks for tuning in. We don't do an outro on this one, do we?
Not really.
No,
we just go bye.
Yeah, well, hey, that was the show. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Thank you to Lux, and happy birthday to Lux for being Lux. You were Lux today, and you can't stop if you tried. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our mods in chat. Thank you to our callers, even the ones that suck, even the people in the chat, even the ones that suck. Have an awesome rest of your day. Never stop learning, and goodbye.
Mwah.
Remember how I texted you and said you should message me when I should come and turn off the stream?
You've been here the whole time, though.
No, I haven't.
I figured you would just be ready.
Room.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I assumed that you were listening.
Yeah. I have the stream up on YouTube where I'm working on coding this thing.
You didn't tell me.
Anyway,
you didn't tell me, so I can't be responsible.
How do we black this out? That's the one.